When she woke up, she found that she was less than 5 steps away from the stone gate, and the chill of being watched by the hunters became more and more serious. Yunwoo did not dare to be distracted any more and immediately sat up in front of the stone gate. At this time, it's taboo to run away with your back to the stone gate in a panic. When you are restless, you are most likely to be controlled by this kind of thing. Mental consciousness sinks into the sea of consciousness and calms down slowly. The breathing and breathing of cloud dance find the law. When one breathes and inhales, the clear air in the body is surging, and the turbid air overflows, making the whole person more energetic. I don't know how long after that, Yunwoo opened his eyes, and the color of Zitong was a little deeper than before. The stone gate seemed to hold up the sky. I don't know when it disappeared. However, Yunwoo could not help fighting a cold war when he looked at the place where the stone gate originally existed. What the hell is that? Yunwoo always felt that although Hyo helped him at that time, he was not sucked into the stone gate. However, she has been locked. The stone gate, or the things behind the stone gate, will not let her go so easily. Black pride condenses around Cloud Dance. Yunwoo, are you okay? Well, I'm fine, thanks to you just now. Cloud Dance get rid of in the brain disorderly idea, say to Black AO. Black AO looking at Cloud Dance, have some deep voice of just remind away, that stone gate is very strange, you later don't come to this area. Weird? Indeed, it's very weird, or a little scary. Hyo, do you know anything about that stone gate? After seeing the extremely old stone gate, Yunwoo couldn't help asking him. After all, since Bai Lao was sealed, she only had Hyo, a mysterious identity who had lived for a long time. However, Yunwoo's curious question is obviously not the case for Hyo. It's better that you don't know about those things. With that, Hyo broke into a black mist. With a whoosh, he followed the body of Cloud Dance again and returned to Chaos Hall. Yunwoo didn't expect that her random question would have such a big reaction. It seems that the Beast Gate is really not simple. At the bottom of my heart, I am more alert to the existence of the Beast Gate. However, to be able to become a topic that should be avoided by the Black Pride, it is better for them not to have a direct conflict with the Beast Gate before the dragon's evil completely recovers. It took a whole morning of Cloud Dance, plus a noon time, for this episode caused by the fast-wind leopard. When he continued to search for prey, Yunwoo always felt uneasy, as if something would happen. Is it the dragon that has fallen in love with them? Cloud Dance murmurs in a low voice, standing on tiptoe, standing on the top of the tree, looking up in the direction of the past. And just like this, Cloud Dance suddenly changed her face. At the edge of the forest, there was a lot of smoke. I don't know how long Qingxia are. Yunwoo is very anxious. There is no shadow left in the forest. There is only a gust of wind. The master-servant contract makes Hyo feel excited when Yunwoo is in the mood. He almost drags the Cloud Dance to fly rapidly in the mid-air, just wants to finish the urgent urge of the Cloud Dance, faster, faster. Yunwoo, don't worry. Long Qingxia won't be so stupid that he doesn't know how to run and wait to be burned. Cloud Dance said nothing, red lips tightly pursed, white face full of worry. When they rushed back to the cave where Yunwoo and Long Qingxi lived, Yunwoo looked at the cave that was engulfed by the raging fire and almost rushed in with an impulse. Hongling rushed out horizontally, just stopped Yunwoo from Shandong where the fire broke out. Master, Master, you are back at last. Cloud Dance looking at Red Ling, frown a little anxious, ask away, Long Qingxi. Where is he? Hongling shakes its tender stems and leaves and points to a big tree not far away. Over there, I had a hard time getting that guy out. Cloud Dance has no mind to continue to listen to Hongling's self-talk. As soon as she turns her foot, she runs to the side of Dragon Qingxie. Hongling, who was left behind, insisted obstinately on the second half of the sentence, because she bit it in her mouth, she almost couldn't help eating it. Breeze blowing leaves, rustling sound, but also hidden in the aroma of lush trees. Long Qingxie sat on the tree trunk, his eyes closed tightly, and his dark hair was scattered on his temples and face. Cloud Dance helped the tree trunk to squat down, and carefully observed the dragon's evil state. She felt the pulse of dragon's evil with extremely light strength. After more than 10 breaths, she was relieved for a long time. Fortunately, it's just a coma. Black Ao in situ watching Cloud Dance finish all this, eyebrows wrinkled, that pair of scarlet eyes, across a light. Yunwoo didn't see this. Who are you? The owner's new pet at this time, Hongling looks up at Hyo and asks curiously. Then, he added, you'll listen to me later. I'm the boss, you know. Or I'll eat you, you know. Even said too, you know. It can be seen that this cannibal must want to be the boss and be crazy. Black Ao originally disdains to answer it, but, I don't know why, the line of sight stares at the Cloud Dance, at this time, can't help muttering, I'm not her pet, no, maybe, for her, even so. However, with that, Hyo seems to feel that he has said too much. Convergence from his strange, Black Ao restored his still proud, looked down at Hongling one eye, but no longer want to talk to it. On the other hand, Yunwoo is busy caring about Long Qingxi's physical condition, and takes out a pair of silver needles from the space bracelet that have not been used for a long time, so that Long Qingxi can wake up earlier. But Yunwoo didn't see it. Behind her, Hyo walked towards her step by step. Every step, the dark figure will fade. The black fog is scattered and gathered. Finally, it turns into a black fog that can't be seen. Through the body of the clouds, it enters the Hall of Chaos. Yunwoo naturally can detect the return of Hyo, but now it's important to save people, and there's no time for her to say more. No one paid any attention to it. Hongling was bored and went around. Finally, she arched to Yunwoo. Master, I saved that guy today. Can you give me something delicious? Hongling, like a child begging for a red envelope, combines the two biggest leaves together and pleads with Yunwoo. Yunwoo touches Hongling and is about to agree. But at this time, Long Qingxie, who had been in a coma, opened his eyes. Almost burned me, saved me again, and almost ate me on the way, which is also worth rewarding. After Long Qingxie finished, he leaned against the tree and gasped for a long time. By this little monster, he was killed by Hongling without waiting for him to recover. Hongling, what's the matter? Didn't I ask you to guard him well? Yunwoo's eyes sank. Unexpectedly, there was another mystery in it. He touched Hongling's leaf with a strong hand. Instead of grasping it, he held it tightly to prevent Hongling from escaping. He doesn't play with me and doesn't give me food. I'm hungry. As soon as I was angry, I knocked over the fire, and I was scalded. Master, you see my leaves are not so watery. Hongling wronged will be big bud open close, also to Cloud Dance accuse. This Hongling, originally the red flame cannibal flower, would not have been afraid of the general flame, otherwise, it would not have been able to get the sacred flame raised by the Empress and lead it to Long Sanju. This guy, obviously, is getting more and more lawless. Yunwoo stroked his forehead and had the impulse to throw Hongling into Chaos Hall again to let it sleep forever. Long Qingxie's breath calmed down, and he didn't continue the topic. Instead, he asked Yunwoo, haven't you gone far? Are you back so soon? Normally, it takes at least 1 day to go back and forth. How did Yunwoo come back soon after the fire? Cloud Dance action slightly a stagnation, already prepared to dragon tilt evil way. I met a fast wind leopard in the forest, its escape direction is just the opposite of when I used to, all the way after it, don't pay attention to come back. What a coincidence. Long Qingxie looked at the Cloud Dance with some deep light in his eyes. Of course, otherwise you'll come back because I'm here for you. Cloud Dance broke a mouth to say. However, they did not ask the dragon to pour evil. The smoke from the cave is more and more choking. Yunwoo covers his mouth and nose and helps the dragon up. Fortunately, the cave is located in a remote place, otherwise it would be bad to start a fire. With that, Cloud Dance squinted and looked up at Hongling. Hongling admitted that she had done something wrong and closed the bud with a swish. Well, master, I'll find a place to buy you a house. Then, it ran to the front to explore the way. They took Hongling and Xiahongsh out for a long time and found a new place to settle down. Yunwu settled down the dragon and poured out evil spirits. He checked the cave to avoid small warcraft or poisonous snakes. After everything was sorted out, Yunwu looked at the new cave and said to the dragon, "It's wider here than before." Long Qingxie doesn't comment on this, but he is very interested in the cultivation of cloud dance. He looked at the sky outside the cave and said to the cloud, "Little thing, I'm afraid you can't finish 3 of your 5 4th level warcraft today. Otherwise, I'd better wait until you're better. I'm not at ease even if you leave." Yunwu looks at Hongling, who is shaking her head beside her. She wants Hongling to help take care of Long Qingxie. Is her head broken in the morning? This eater is just a baby. Fortunately, it didn't lead to disaster. It really burned the dragon to death. Long Qingxie's sharp peach blossom eyes narrowed slightly. The old god was dancing to the clouds and said, "It's not long since the day when we should go to the Shenwang Samurai Academy to report. Can you rest assured that Dragon 3 will enter the school alone?" Smell speech, cloud dance silent down. It's imperative to go to Shenwang Samurai Academy. It's not just for Long San. More importantly, she also has something to do. However, with her present strength, so you're not going to have any more trouble? Cloud Dance looks at the dragon to pour evil, in fact, dragon to pour evil every sentence said in the key. The rest of the time is only a short month. It is necessary to improve the strength, but it is also necessary to rush to enter school with Long San. Long Qingxie sighed helplessly and said to the cloud, "Little thing, you are very glad to be so concerned about your husband, but don't treat your husband as a waste, okay?" Said, Dragon Qing evil hands suddenly appeared a few black small ball, his 5 fingers flexible rotation, those small ball rolling to and fro, looking at Sha is lovely. Long Qingxie extends his hand to Yunwu. "Little things, it's absolutely no problem for your husband to protect himself. You can take 2 of these little things. If you encounter a warcraft that can't be solved, you can smash them. There will be enough time for you to escape." "What's in it?" Yunwu curiously took a small black ball to play in his hand. Unexpectedly, it was much heavier than it looked. "It's the size of a pebble. I'm afraid it weighs 4 or 5 jin when I weigh it in my hand." Compressed gunpowder, this one was torn off and smashed out, which made the cave collapse more than enough. Cloud Dance, after listening to the explanation of Dragon Qing Xie, suddenly covered with black lines. "It's been around for a long time. Why don't you tell me earlier?" However, since the safety of Dragon's evil spirit has been guaranteed, Cloud Dance will rest assured to practice. However, not long after leaving the cave, Yunwu stopped in the forest with a very ugly face. "Hayo, Hayo, can you hear me? Hayo, answer me." Yunwu called to Hayo in the Chaos Hall countless times, but all the words were like a stone sinking into the sea. There was no response. What makes Yunwu even more uneasy is still behind. She found that she couldn't get into the Hall of Chaos. "What's going on? Hayo, answer me as soon as you hear me. What's the matter?" The Cloud Dance is so anxious that sweat oozes from her white forehead. In her bright eyes, the purple light mist surrounds her, which makes her beautiful face more charming. What the hell happened? For the first time in a long time, Yunwu had no bottom in his heart. She can still feel the existence of Chaos Hall, but she can't get in anyway, and she can't establish contact with Hayo. It felt like there's something inside the Chaos Hall that's rejecting her. Isn't she the owner of Chaos Hall? How can there be such a strange phenomenon? Yunwu sits under the tree with eyes closed and legs crossed, eliminating all distractions, letting the calm spirit sink into the sea of consciousness, hoping to find the way to enter the Chaos Palace. However, all efforts are useless. The towering gate of Chaos Hall is tightly closed, no matter how Cloud Dance shouts, claps and kicks the door. There was no echo in it. Even Cloud Dance's plan to use master-servant contract to get induction with Hayo ended in failure. "Hayo, what's the matter with you? What happened to Chaos Hall? Cloud Dance wrung eyebrows to think hard, but his head is like a mess of wool scratched by a cat, how can't understand. And the big beard outside the Chaos Hall is still a stone statue without movement. It left her almost penniless. Finally, Yunwoo had no choice but to withdraw his mind. Standing up from the ground, looking at the depth of the Warcraft forest, he said to himself, when the boat comes to the bridge, it will be straight. Let's go and have a look. The whole afternoon's fight with Warcraft, coupled with the Chaos Hall and the abnormality of Hyo, makes Yunwoo feel tired physically and mentally. I don't know how, on the way back, she went to the place where Sherman appeared before. The night wind is blowing gently, the grass is brushed by a pair of invisible hands, and the dark green waves are produced. The bright moonlight is scattered down, shining some light on the dark ground. Cloud Dance looked thoughtfully at the place where the stone gate disappeared, with a kind of bad premonition. Creak dash, the sound of something opening in a distant place, the subtle sound, for Cloud Dance, is no different from a thunder. She vigilantly looked at the place where the stone gate appeared before, and saw the soil bulging up a small bag by moonlight. It's like there's something under there ready to break out. Looking at the falling sand and dregs, the Cloud danced with a layer of white hair on his back. He turned around and left at the fastest speed without hesitation. Perhaps, this is the first time to run away in such a mess except for being chased by the samurai. Long Qingxie saw the appearance of Yunwoo running for his life. He was surprised and said, "Little thing, why are you so urgent? What happened?" Cloud Dance looked at him one eye, in the heart have a lot of things stuffy, but can't speak. It seems that we can't find the opportunity to say it. Master, I haven't had dinner yet. Hungling honest one afternoon plus half a night, and now finally see Cloud Dance back, very happy, hopping ran to Cloud Dance's side. Yunwoo is helpless to Hungling, who only knows how to eat. After eating so many things, I didn't find its long brain. What's the matter? Long Qingxie's feeling of Cloud Dance is always extremely acute, and he immediately realizes that Cloud Dance is not in the right mood. Yunwoo shook his head and said, "It's okay, just a little tired." "How do you feel?" "It's very good. Although it's painful to take, the effect is really good." "Little thing, do you see something, or encounter something?" Looking at Yunwoo's face, which was obviously worried, Long Qingxie thought about it for a while and asked. "Well, I did see some strange things." Cloud Dance hears that there is something in the dragon's evil words, and it seems that there is a gap at last. Yunwoo sits down opposite to Long Qingxie and tells her what she sees. "I met several people wearing the same mask as Jade Snake. They mentioned taking people back, poisoning or something. Later, a stone gate appeared out of thin air, and they went in. When they go in, the stone gate disappears again. Intentionally or unintentionally, Cloud Dance will hide her sense of crisis to the door. She always felt that it was not as simple as it seemed. It may not be a good thing for him to know about the current situation of Dragon's evil. You are the one who met the Beast Gate. So many people can't find you. I didn't expect that you were knocked down by mistake." After listening to the words of Cloud Dance, Long Qingxie had a score in his heart. He was able to determine the entrance of the Beast Gate, or the Shengguan told him. Unexpectedly, Yunwoo ran into it by herself. Cloud Dance told Dragon Qingxie, "I will avoid there recently. I won't go there for a while. Their range of activities is not far from here. You should be more careful when you are alone." "All right, I see, little housekeeper." Long Qingxie's intimate attitude made Yunwoo feel uncomfortable. She made the bonfire brighter and worried about something else. Chaos Hall now can't enter, even she can't feel the dragon tornado, let alone how can't establish the connection with Hyo. What happened? This kind of nonsense made her feel uneasy. The smell of wood burning is slightly choking, and Yunwoo sleeps with all kinds of worries in this choking smell. Jingle. The sudden sound in the quiet cave awakens the dragon at the first time. That pair of black eyes in the light of the fire, like a beast ready to hunt, flashing with a murderous cold light. However, When Long Qingxie looked closely at the person who made the sound, he was surprised. "Little thing, what's the matter with you?" Long Qingxie asked Yunwu, who was standing with his back to him. He didn't know what Yunwu was doing. Yunwu looked back at him, but did not answer his words. And the dragon Qing Evil In and Cloud dance at the moment of looking at each other, eyes suddenly stare big, fundus even in an instant burst of red blood. Such dull eyes can't belong to Cloud dance. Long Qingxie stood up, put light feet close to Yunwu, carefully observed her condition. Cloud dance's hearing seems to be extremely keen at this time, but she still feels dragon's evil footsteps. Long Qingxie only felt that his eyes were like two black wooden beads. He couldn't find half distraction, but just a pool of stillness. Yunwu stares at Long Qingxie for a while, and then turns his head and walks out of the cave. Two people wake up before and after, also wake up in the cave mouth of Hongling. "Master." It seems to have not woken up, the voice of a vague cry. Long Qingxie immediately warned it, "Hongling, don't make a sound." Hongling immediately realized that Yunwu's condition was not right. When Yunwu noticed the sound turning back, she quickly closed the bud and pretended that it was still sleeping. Two eyes without God Cloud dance stare at Red Ling to see for a while, after confirming it harmless, just continue to go out again. In the dead of night, the moonlight is covered by a few dark clouds, and the huge forest is like a ghost full of monsters, which makes people feel scared involuntarily. In the bleak moonlight, the clouds dance and walk stiffly in the grass. Behind her, she chased two shadows from afar and couldn't give up. Cloud dance at this time, the whole person is in chaos. His mind seems to be stuffed into a bottle full of grease. It's sticky and can't distinguish anything. She can feel the slight tingling of the grass tip across her skin, and can also feel the fragrance of the wild flowers. However, no matter how hard we try, we can't see the picture in front of us. Everything in the line of sight is blurred, like a thick layer of water vapor. All the scenes are distorted and unreal. There was something in the dark that was drawing her forward. And she, like an iron nail sensing a magnet, involuntarily approached each other. Yunwu tried to recall why she had become like this, and the pace at her feet became hesitant. Dragon Qingxie, who follows Yunwu, finds her hesitation and slows down. He didn't know what Cloud dance meant today, but looking at the current situation, it's obvious that Cloud dance still concealed something from him. This kind of cognition makes Long Qingxie feel frustrated. This little thing, still want to guard against him now? Cloud dance and fuzzy consciousness resist. It seems that there are two different forces in the tug of war in her mind. The tool of tug of war is a serrated blade, sawing all the nerves in her head again and again, which makes her have a headache. Fierce pain let Cloud dance bear heavy load of kneel down on the ground, her hands holding the head, voice hoarse and difficult spit out a few sun. Dragon pour out evil. Long Qingxie, who is getting closer to Yunwu, darts past and holds Yunwu in his arms. Wake up, little thing. Long Qingxie slaps Yunwu's cheek. Now she has a trace of her own consciousness. Even if she wakes up, it won't hurt much. Long Qingxie go, let's go. Yunwu felt that the sound of dragon pouring evil came from a distance. When it came to her ear, it was hard to recognize. Her heart suddenly cool, realized that in her situation is so bad, dragon Qing evil is still her side is absolutely not a good thing. In case of being dragged down by her, according to the current situation of Long Qingxie, I'm afraid there's no chance to escape. Little thing, wake up quickly, or we will die together, I won't leave you. Dragon Qingxie pinches the people of Cloud dance and wants to wake her up by force. Yunwu finally heard the vague voice, but only heard the sentence, we die together. His heart was very anxious, but his mouth could not say anything. Go, let's go. Just when the pain in Yunwu's mind weakened and she was about to break through the invisible attraction, the strength of the other party suddenly increased several times, directly squeezing her consciousness away. When the consciousness of Cloud dance is interrupted, Long Qingxie feels that the person in his arms wants to stand up again. Hey, what's the matter with my master? Do you have a solution? Hongling followed them, worried that the buds were opening and closing, but there was nothing to do. Long Qingxie grabs Yunwu's wrist fiercely, hoping not to let her go on. He has realized that there must be something in front of him that is attracting the cloud to dance in the past. However, no matter Cloud Dance deliberately conceals from him, or now Cloud Dance is completely controlled, we can see that the other party is absolutely not good at it. I won't let you take her. Long Qingxie grabs Yunwu and drags her step. Looking at the dark depth, he seems to see the creeping monster hidden in the dark through the dim night. At the time when Hongling still wanted to ask, Long Qingxie had taken the opportunity to bite his wrist. Hot blood suddenly gushed from the wound. Long Qingxie held Yunwu's jaw in one hand, put the bleeding wound on his wrist to Yunwu's lips and fed the blood in. This method of controlling other people's spirit comes from some warcraft. It can be broken with blood. The only uncertainty of Long Qingxie was the amount of blood he fed. However, he didn't care about it at all. Yunwu unconsciously sucks the liquid on his lips, and his throat is full of the smell of ferruginous rust. That pair of eyes like wooden beads blinked a few times, the moonlight shining into her eyes, the cool moonlight blending with a layer of purple mist gradually emerging from her eyes. A light that makes the dragon's heart soften returns to the eye of Cloud Dance. Dragon, why do dragons pour out evil? Yunwu's consciousness is still a little vague. She looks at the dragon with a little perplexity, as if she is not sure whether he is real or not. Long Qingxie takes advantage of Cloud Dance not to take back the hand that is still bleeding without trace. Little thing, what are you hiding from me? Yunwu finds out that she and Long Qingxie are not in the cave. Take a closer look, Cloud Dance appeared in a cold sweat. Not far from here is the place where the stone gate appears. When I met those people of the Beast Gate, I felt some strange things. Cloud Dance, calm mind. No things to the point of not saying no, that stone door before closing, pause for a long time. I always feel that something has seen me behind that stone door. Long Qingxie twisted his eyebrows and asked, why didn't you say that earlier? Because I'm not in the way. Cloud Dance avoids the sight of Long Qingxie and doesn't intend to tell each other that she is considering for him. The trouble has already come to our door. What's more, isn't it funny? Little thing. Do you really think husband is a fool? Long Qingxie deeply gazed at the face with a little pale and sick gas in the Cloud Dancing enchantment, and suddenly smile. You're trying to make me feel at ease. Don't get involved in these things too early for your sake, right? Cloud Dance pursed a pursed red lip, not happy way, anyway, finally, or pull in. With these words, Yunwu has licked his gum, and noticed the strange smell in his mouth. Seeing her little action, Long Qingxie immediately suggested, it's very late. Let's go back first. Maybe we can find a cave far away from here in the daytime. You woke me up by feeding me blood. Yunwu grabs the dragon's evil wrist. The dark clouds in the sky slowly disperse and the bright moonlight falls down. Everything in front of Yunwu's eyes is clearly illuminated. Long Qingxie takes the injured wrist back into his sleeve and smiles at Yunwu. Little thing, as long as it can keep you safe, what's the point of bleeding my husband? The Cloud Dance pulls back the wrist of Dragon Qingxie, and the tooth print that Dragon Qingxie bites out on it is clearly visible. Probably because he is now seriously injured, the bite out of the wound actually has little sign of healing. You are in such poor health, don't make fun of your own life, okay? Cloud Dance while saying, at the same time take out the wound medicine and gauze from the space bracelet, for his wrist wound carefully bandaged. Master, someone is near here. Hongling, who has always been in the highest alert state, suddenly swings its branches and leaves to report the latest situation to them. Cloud Dance and Dragon Qing Evil looked at each other, two people nodded at the same time, understood each other's meaning. It's a friend or an enemy. We'll know when we meet later. If there's a problem, we'll take action immediately. While the person has not yet arrived, Yunwu quickly completes the change of face, and restores the appearance of underage malnourished youth in front of Nangong Yi and others. Hung Ling, on the other hand, was ordered by Cloud Dance to hide in the dark temporarily because it could not be sent to Chaos Hall, so it should not appear rashly. Hung Ling feels that the person will arrive soon, and judging from the person's clothes, Yunwu and Long Qingxi feel that their hostility may not come in handy. It was a skinny man in a patched linen robe with a medicine basket on his back. It seems that there is no need for Cloud Dance or Dragon to do evil. A gust of wind can blow him away. Who are you? On the contrary, the man was startled by Yunwu. After seeing them, he stepped back several steps and almost fell to the ground. Long Qingxie said calmly, "We are here to catch Warcraft in the Warcraft forest." "This gentleman, why are you here so late?" The doctor-like young man looked at the dragon and Cloud Dance several times, and finally breathed out an exaggerated breath. "I'm a doctor who lives in the Warcraft forest. I came out to collect herbs at this time tonight. The moon will bloom for half an hour. If I miss it, I won't be able to collect much." With that, the young man reached out and took out a few pink and white flowers from the medicine basket, which were still in full bloom, and showed them to Yunwu and Longqing. "I see. Where does the doctor live? Is it far from here?" Although the other side said there was no flaw, and there was physical evidence, Long Qingxie did not easily believe the other side. On this dark night, just as Yunwu was almost completely controlled, it was a coincidence to meet the doctor who came out in the middle of the night to collect medicine. "My name is Yao Kuji. Just call me by name. My place is very close to here. If you don't have a place to rest, why don't you come with me and stay in my house for a night?" Long Qingxie didn't expect that Yao Kuji was so real that he not only said his name and residence, but also mistakenly thought that they couldn't find a place to live, so he took the initiative to invite them to spend the night. Long Qingxie half-joked and half-seriously said to Yao Kuji, "Dr. Yao, you should have seen a lot of people and things in this Warcraft forest. You just invited us home. Aren't you afraid that we are not good for you?" Yao Kuji was stunned for a moment. It seems that he didn't expect this one. But immediately, he showed a shy smile to the dragon, which belongs to the reserved smile of scholars. "Since you will remind me, you will not be a big traitor. What else do I need to guard against you?" With that, Yao Kuji helped the medicine basket behind him and took the initiative to lead the way. "Follow me. It's hard to walk here. It's dark. Don't fall again." Yunwu and Long Qingxie, who are both in tears and laughter, look at Yao Kuji, who is determined to take people home, and are speechless for a while. They haven't agreed yet. How can it be that Dr. Yao kindly agreed that they asked for help? Long Qingxie whispered to Yunwu, "Go with him first. He lives so close to here. Maybe he will know something." "Good." The huge stone gate appeared in Yunwu's mind, and the pain in my mind was called back by the picture. She also worried about what would happen again. It would be the best to solve the problem as soon as possible. They followed Yao Kuji to his home, only to find that this man said that this is home, which is too flattering. In the moonlight, a simple thatched shed was built according to the mountain, behind which was a dark cave. Yao Kuji fumbled in the dark cave for a long time before lighting up an oil lamp with and without similar characteristics. Long Qingxie and Yunwu went into the cave together and found that the furnishings were as simple as the oil lamp. "Dr. Yao, how can you live in a place like this, a man who practices medicine and saves people?" Long Qingxie is still testing Yao Kuji's background. Moreover, the things in the cave really puzzled them. There was a natural stone bed in the cave, so Yao Kuji simply tried to save trouble and spread the bedding up as a bed. In addition, there are also tables, chairs and benches made of picked up trees. They look like they can't stand. I don't know if I will fall down when I sit on them. If there are really some medical people, even if they open a small medicine shed outside the forest, it's better than the environment here, isn't it? Who would want to live in a place like this, if he could? Yao Kuji seemed to be asked where he was sad. He gave a wry smile. On his young face, he squeezed out a few tired wrinkles. Long Qingxie raised his eyebrows and asked, "Dr. Yao means that you live here for another reason?" To tell you the truth, I will live in this Warcraft forest, live with some Warcraft all day, and bear the risk of becoming food in the mouth of neighbors at any time. In fact, I will find my daughter. When Yaokuji talks about his daughter, he seems to be filled with grief and tears in his eyes. Looking at the gentleman, he can't help crying. Dr. Yao, don't cry. Do you mean your daughter lost in the Warcraft forest? Long Qingxie didn't expect that Yaokuji had a story on him. He calmed him down and asked him. Yaokuji waved his hand and talked about all these things with a little fear in his voice. I used to open a hospital outside the Warcraft forest, and my life was tight. My wife died early, leaving only one daughter to live with me. Once, an exploration team asked me to follow them into the Warcraft forest to find a kind of medicinal material. It's not a dangerous place to go, and my daughter doesn't want to leave me, so I took her with me. Speaking of the past, Yaokuji's eyes were a little blurred. The whole person seemed to be covered by a heavy sadness, and his temperament was gloomy, which made it easy to be brought into his mood. Yunwu looks at the man and feels his strong desire to talk to others. Living alone in this Warcraft forest, it must give him great mental pressure. What I regret most now is that I took my daughter into Warcraft forest at that time. Yaokuji's mood suddenly rose. He clenched his fists and twitched his facial muscles. We met the devil, the real devil. They killed everyone and I took my daughter. If I wasn't on the verge of death at that time, they would have patched me up again. I've been looking here for 4 years, for whole years, but my daughter can't see her dead or alive. Yaokuji was so emotional that he beat his legs with both hands. He wished he could go back to the day when his daughter was robbed and let everything go again. Hearing this, Yunwu and Longqingxi have the same guess in their hearts. Cloud Dance reaches out his hand and fiddles with Long Qingxia's wrist. Long Qingxia understands Yaokuji's question. Dr. Yao, your daughter has a good talent for cultivation? Yaokuji suddenly regained his mind and nodded with a gloomy look. Yes, her talent is the green class. Many people in the Warcraft forest want to take her as an apprentice. But is it worth robbing a little girl who hasn't been cultivated yet? Are the people who took your daughter wearing masks? The dragon poured evil to ponder next, still asked words to come out. Yaokuji suddenly raised his head. His eyes were a little strange. He glared at the dragon and his nose widened because of breathing. How do you know that? Long Qingxia said to Yaokuji, I think we are looking for the same group of people. You have relatives, too, who have taken you away. Because Long Qingxia's words, Yaokuji's eyes on him and Yunwu are almost like looking at his relatives. He looks at Long Qingxia and Yunwu tearfully, and his eyes reveal the feeling of sympathizing with each other. Long Qingxia cleared his throat and said naturally, yes, my sister was also taken away by them. Cloud Dance secretly looks at Long Qingxia. Since entering the Warcraft forest, Long Qingxia talks about his brother and sister all day long. If you let him go on talking nonsense, I don't know if Uncle and Uncle's family will come out. No wonder you're here. You've been robbed around here, haven't you? That's right. Now Dr. Yao helps us to confirm, so we are more sure. There must be a trace of my sister around here. Long Qingxia talks so loud that even Cloud Dance has the illusion that he really has a sister who is lost or robbed in the Warcraft forest. It's fate. I just met you. Ah, by the way, what are your names, please? Look at me, I haven't known the name of the guest for so long. It's so funny to both of you. Yaokuji stayed in the Warcraft forest for 4 years before he met the first wave of his companions. He was so excited that his face was flushed. He was incoherent and a little at a loss. Long Qingxia pressed Yaokuji's shoulder with both hands and let him sit down on the chair with crooked legs. Dr. Yao, calm down. My name is Long Si. This is my brother, Xiao Wu. The girl we were robbed of was Xiao Lu, the youngest sister in the family. The youngest of the family? Yaokuji sighed, you two are not very old. It's estimated that Xiao Lu is even younger than my daughter. Those people are really evil. With that, Yao Kuji pounded the rough and uneven table again, and the rough teacups on the table made a clanging sound. After the sound disappeared, Yao Kuji hesitated for a while, and finally gritted his teeth and called out Dragon Qingxie. Young Xia Long Si, in fact, I have found some traces of those villains these days. I want to try to save my daughter. Are you two willing to go with me? Yunwu knows what Yao Kuji thinks. He is a weak doctor who has no power to bind a chicken. It is not realistic for him to save his daughter by himself. Now I met them. Although I don't know what their strength is, it's better than his own insurance. However, Long Qingxie's physical condition is so bad, how can Yunwu let him go? Just when Yunwu was about to refuse, Long Qingxie suddenly coughed a few times. He covered his lips with one hand. After a while, there were streaks of blood flowing out of his fingers. Cloud Dance quickly wiped off the blood on his mouth and hand with his sleeve, and asked anxiously, "What's the matter? How can you cough up blood?" Long Qingxie holds Yunwu's hand and blinks at Yunwu from an angle that Yao Kuji can't see. Yunwu immediately understood what he meant. Refusing Yao Kuji directly will inevitably cause his emotional rebound. Long Qingxie must have used some small means to pretend to cough up blood. Sure enough, the effect that Rulong Qingxie wanted was startled when Yao Kuji saw that he coughed up blood. Young Xia Long Si, what's the matter with you, but what's your injury or what's wrong with your body? Yao Kuji is really a competent doctor. While he is talking to Long Qingxie very fast, he pulls up a medicine box from his feet and plans to treat him. Long Qingxie said bitterly to Yao Kuji, "When my little six was robbed, I fought with those people, but I still couldn't defeat them. In the end, little six was robbed by them." Alas, Cloud Dance listened to, can't help but sighed head to turn a white eye. Yao Kuji said angrily, "Those people are really hateful. Young Xia Long Si, I'm a doctor at least. Let me treat you." "Well, thank you, Dr. Yao. Don't call me the fourth young Xia, just call me the fourth young Xia." Long Qingxie spontaneously reaches out his hand to feel Yao Kuji's pulse. Looking honest and ordinary face, but always hanging a little bit out of place with a playful smile, that pair of black eyes, but also deep hidden who cannot understand the emotions. Yao Kuji narrowed his eyes and frowned for a long time. At the end of the day, his face would wrinkle into orange peel. "Dragon 4, your injury is too serious. If you go on like this, don't mention the recovery of the injury, even if you are injured, it's possible to kill you. Why didn't you come out again?" Long Qingxie really asked, "If I ask you to go back and wait a few years to find your daughter, Dr. Yao, would you like to?" Yao Kuji was asked by Long Qingxie. At last, he couldn't answer anything but a long sigh. "Xiao Wu, you should take good care of your brother's health. I'll prescribe some medicine for you. You'll be here with your brother these days." Yunwu nodded and made no sound. Yao Kuji almost understood the character of the brothers. Long Si looked very honest, but he was meticulous and considerate. This small five, looking at no ability, but also a silent character. However, it was a little cold, but he really cared about his brother. Just now, when Dragon 4 vomited blood, little Five's face changed. "Dr. Yao, thank you for your trouble." Long Qingxie put down his sleeve and made a polite remark to Yao Kuji. "At this stage, we need to help each other, so that we can find our relatives." Yao Kuji said, taking out the bright moon flowers from the medicine basket, spreading them on the table and looking at them. Cloud Dance can see that for Yao Kuji, this flower is not only a difficult medicine to collect, but also has other unusual significance. Yao Kuji gently stroked those moonflowers, and the strength was like stroking his lover. "Dragon 4, these bright moons are the key to enter that place. When your injury gets better, are you two willing to go with me to save your close relatives?" Somehow, Yao Kuji's tone made Yunwu feel a chill. It's like there is a cold spider silk, rooted in her heart, so disturbing. Long Qingxie holds Yunwu's hand and says to Yao Kuji angrily, "That's natural. If it's not because of my injury, I want to settle this account with those people now." Yao Keji showed a satisfied smile and was sincerely happy with Long Qingxia's attitude. On the other side, Little Stink, who has been walking through the mountains and forests all the way, doesn't cause much noise with its impersonal attitude. However, in order to enter the southern Warcraft forest, it is necessary to go through a town that is inserted at the entrance of the forest. At this time, the little guy could clearly feel the fluctuation when he used the fire element for several days in a row. All the way, except eating and drinking lassa, he didn't know how to get tired. It was called the excitement of a jerk. It's just, when it's dirty, standing in the grass outside the town. Small Stink, crooked head, crooked brain, staring at the entrance of the human in and out of the town, round eyes straight around, seems to have concerns. Although this smelly boy looks like a fool, sometimes he is as smart as a beast. He has a natural sense of rejection and crisis towards human beings. What to do? White, tender, fat face, because in thinking like wrinkled into a ball, like a little adult. Hey, kid, what are you doing here? But at this time, a rather pungent voice came from behind. Little Stink, who was still in deep thought, was startled. He turned his head and almost showed his nature. However, when he saw the man, he wanted to show his teeth and claws, which was hidden. He widened his lovely round eyes and stared at the people coming towards him. I saw that a girl in red was coming. She was very coquettish. Beside her, she was carrying a half-sized Warcraft with a dead dog. That Warcraft looks very docile, seems to have been tamed. However, this is not the reason why Stink suddenly calms down, but because of the girl's breath. It's not human, with a kind of Warcraft flavor. However, when the girl in red came near, her eyes narrowed when she saw the Little Stink, and the bottom of her eyes brushed with a touch of surprise. Little thing, it seems that you are a new breed. How did you get out? What's new? Small Stink smell speech, obviously don't understand, slanting brain melon seeds continue to stare at her. Seeing this, the girl in red flashed an interesting streamer in her cold and pungent eyes. If you sneak out, you must let a lot of people come to you again. Let's go. I'll take you back. You can't be caught by human beings like this. Otherwise, you will suffer. The red girl said, and bent down to pick up the Little Stink. Then, she threw the Little Stink to the Warcraft beside her. Little Stink didn't open his mouth all the time. He only used his big round eyes to stare at the girl. Seeing that she took it into town, she grinned and showed off her frightening sharp teeth. It doesn't care where she takes it. As long as she can go to this place and find Mama, it's easy to say anything. The girl in red was a little startled when she saw her teeth. Originally thought that this little thing looked silly, should be harmless, but now it seems, from the animal school experiment out of things, how can be harmless? It seems that after this town, she has to tie it up so that it won't run away or cause trouble on the way. On the other side, the night wind was blowing slowly, and the dragon and Cloud danced like this. They spent their first night in Yao Keji's cave. In the next few days, Yunwu thought that Long Qingxia was looking for medicinal materials, so he went out early and came back late, and brought some medicinal materials back every day. However, it was Hung Ling and Xiahong who were looking for it. The time of Cloud Dance is still spent on fighting with Warcraft and exploring the cultivation of fighting with 7 series elements. Unfortunately, without Xianyu Anguishu's guide, Yunwu's exploration of the mixed battle of the 7 elements has become many times more difficult. While practicing, Yunwu never gave up trying to establish contact with Chaos Hall and Hyo in Chaos Hall. However, nothing has been achieved. Every time at this time, Cloud Dance's mind will appear that huge stone gate with an ancient flavor. These few nights, she did not feel the attraction from the stone door. But she had a hunch that when she saw something behind the door, she might be able to get out of the present predicament. Yunwu, with herbal medicine in her arms, was distracted as she walked and unconsciously returned to Yao Keji's cave. Little things, they don't look at the road when they walk. What are they thinking about? Long Qingxia takes the herbs from Yunwu's arms and asks her in a low voice. Over the past few days, Long Qingxia's health has improved a lot. It's not because of Yao Keji's mediocre herbs, but because the pills made by Hyo began to work in Long Qingxia's body. Cloud Dance didn't answer Long Qingxia's words, but asked, "Where's Mrs. Yao?" Long Qingxia pointed to the east and said, "He's going to get back the sun-dried moonflower. It seems that he's really in a hurry to save his daughter. It's no pity to have such a father." Long Qingxia holds Yunwu in his arms and rubs her hair intimately with his chin. He says in a warm voice, "Although you don't have such a father, you have a husband. You don't need to envy anyone, eh?" Before Yunwu came, he noticed someone at the door and pushed him away with his backhand. In the next second, Long Qingxia greets Yao Keji, who has just come from the side of the mountain wall, with a smile. "Dr. Yao, are all the moonflowers in the sun?" "Well, this is the most successful batch of moonflowers I've been basking in recently. It seems that God is urging us to save people as soon as possible." Yao Keji is holding a cloth bag in his hand. His movements are very cautious. He is more attentive than the appearance of gold. After several days together, Yunwu has a deep understanding of how crazy Yao Keji is to save his daughter. At this time, it's no surprise that he can't say 3 words, and he returns to the matter of saving people. If there is a father like Yunlungi who doesn't look like his father, there will naturally be a father like Yao Keji who is crazy for his daughter. But is it good to be so crazy? Or Yao Keji gently put the bag of moonflowers on the table and patted off some dust on his body. He said eagerly to the dragon, "Dragon 4, you've been in good health recently. Why don't we have a try tonight?" In fact, Yao Keji said that Long Qingxia's body is much better. It's a bit of bullshit. Cloud Dance is very clear. Dragon Poor Evil now also can only say is no longer so weak, can appropriate activity just. Yao Keji simply beautified all the difficulties because he was anxious. What Dr. Yao said is that I'm also worried. In that case, let's act tonight. To Yunwu's surprise, Long Qingxia agreed to Yao Keji's request. "Dragon brother, your health is not good, you can't go now." Cloud Dance frowns, with the eyes implies the dragon, "Hope he don't come." Now she can't get in touch with Chaos Hall and Hyo. The most powerful card in her hand can't be used, and her strength at this time is not sure of winning completely. If Long Qingxia has to go, once something happens tonight, they will become very dangerous. Long Qingxia rubbed Yunwu's hair, with a familiar smile on his lips. "I know my body well. You can rest assured." In the past, such smile lines can really make Yunwu feel at ease. But now see Dragon Qing Evil so smile, Cloud Dance just want to give him a fist, let him old honest really on the bed to recuperate. "Xiao Wu, your brother is also going to save Xiao Lu, your sister. How can you stop him like this?" Yao Keji looked at Yunwu with disapproval. His eyes of condemnation looked like Yunwu gave the non-existent Xiao Lu to the human traffickers. As for Yao Keji's words, Yunwu frowned and his eyes flashed. "Dr. Yao, Xiao Wu just cares about me, so don't say more. I'll accompany you to save people tonight." "Don't worry at this time," Long Qingxia said that he would not allow others to scold Yunwu. Acting is acting, but who dares to say Cloud Dance, he won't agree. Yao Keji forced his jaw and didn't go on. In the evening, Yao Keji kept running out of the cave to see the sky. Until the middle of the moon, Yao Keji finally went back to the cave in awe. He divided the dried moonflowers into 3 parts and put them in 3 small cloth pockets. "Dragon 4, Little 5, these bright moonflowers are good things that let you not be confused when you enter the door. You must not leave your body, you know." Long Qingxia and Yunwu take over the moonflowers and nod to Yao Keji. "But, Dr. Yao, how do you know that moonflower can have such effect?" Long Qingxia hits the cloth bag with bright moonflowers open and asks Yao Keji. "It was those people who left a sachet when they went in. After I opened the sachet, I didn't find any other clues, but I found these moonflowers. Later, when the door appeared, I used to stand in front of the door with a bright moonflower. As expected, I was not confused by the door." When Yao Keji talked about it, his thin yellow face was obviously proud. Indeed, for a scholar like doctor like him, it's hard to have the courage to do experiments in person. In that case, let's go now. Long Qingxie tied the cloth bag to her belt, and then bent down to hang the cloud-dancing cloth bag on her waist. There was still disapproval in Yunwu's look. After Yao Keji ran out, Yunwu grabbed Long Qingxie's clothes and forced him to stay. Long Qingxie, your body can't really take risks now. It's not sure whether you'll come back or not if you're in a rash way. Little thing, do you really think that husband is a person who doesn't know how to cherish his life? Long Qingxie raised his mouth, and a smile of some evil sycophant appeared on his face. He pinched Yunwu's worried face and said to her, there are many ways to protect yourself for your husband. If you really want to risk your life, how can you be willing to let you go with me? After hearing the story of Dragon, Yunwu wanted to say something else, but some of them didn't know what to say. Although Long Qingxie has never acted according to the principle of playing cards, he really always has such a life-sparing protection for her. But you. Long Qingxie lowers his head and kisses Yunwu on the cheek, grabs her wrist and goes out. Well, little thing, if you don't leave, you'll miss the time. At that time, Dr. Yao will drop a piece of dried bone into the beast's den. When we go back, we don't know if we can leave some meat residue. Cloud Dance was suddenly attacked by Dragon Qingxie, which made her face a little hot and almost kicked by conditioned reflex. Unfortunately, there is an anxious Dr. Yao outside. Yunwu has to take back the foot he wants to kick. The moon is high and the wind is black in the forest. You'll see the door open soon. Yao Keji's voice is a little trembling. Yunwu sees light water vapor under his eyes, and there is also a kind of excitement that she can't understand. In the moonlight, the land outside the bushes was flat and clear. Yunwu looked at the land, his heart beat faster, and he always felt that he had seen the door. After waiting for a while, the moonlight slanted to the west, and some changes suddenly happened on the ground. Under the soil, it seems that there are countless hands pushing upward, sand and stones rolling down, and the ground bulging up a low ridge. Yao Keji burst into tears. He stroked the spine with shaking hands and said in a hateful voice, I have studied for 4 years. For 4 years, I can finally get my daughter back. In the face of such Yao Keji, Yunwu began to have some doubts. Is it really the right choice to go in with him? Thinking in this way, the cloud could not help looking at the dragon. Long Qingxie leaned over Cloud Dance's ear and said in a low voice, he knows more than he says. It's safer to follow him. The warm breath of Dragon Qingxie's breath is blowing Cloud Dance's ear. In such a cool night, it is inexplicably hot and dry. At this moment, the ridge in the soil was finally broken by the white stone, revealing the original appearance of the stone gate. Seeing this scene, there was more seriousness in Long Qingxie's relaxed expression. He clenched Yunwu's hand and told him seriously, little thing, after you go in, you should follow me closely and don't leave me, you know? Don't worry. Do you think I'll trust you to walk around alone? Cloud Dance rarely said such a sentence. In fact, knowing that he was worried that she would be controlled by the mysterious attraction behind the door, she nodded to him and agreed. As Yunwu saw for the first time, the stone gate completely bulged out of the ground and shook off a lot of soil. The huge door was like a big mouth of a faint beast, which made them crack a stiff and gloomy horror smile. Yao Keji was the first to step in. Followed by the dragon and Cloud Dance, hand in hand in the door. At the moment of entering, Yunwu shivered. She looked around warily, trying to find out the existence that made her feel deep fear. Long Qingxie has always been my hand. Naturally, I won't let go of this detail. He bowed his head to Cloud Dance and said, what do you feel? Those eyes, I feel them looking at me. When Yunwu spoke, she was afraid that she would be very scared in the past and this life. She scanned around uneasily, and the feeling of being watched made her feel very uncomfortable, as if her body had become transparent, and the other party could see through her skin and bones directly. Don't worry, I'm here. Dragon Qingxie tightly clenched the hand of Cloud Dance, and looked into the deepest part of the passage with his bright eyes. After 3 people entered the door, they found that there was a narrow passage behind it. There are oil lamps on the walls on both sides of the passage at intervals. The quality of the lamp oil is much better than that of Yaokuji's hut, and the passage is also illuminated brightly. It is because of these lights that they can see the creepy murals on the wall of the passage. Yunwoo has seen many tragic and bloody scenes, but never thought that just some murals can make her feel numb. What are these murals? The one who can't stand Biyun dance is Yaokuji. He looked at the murals without blood on his face. His eyes looked like copper bells. It seemed that the next breath might fall out of his eyes. Seeing the mural, Long Qingxie frowned and then said, maybe it's the process of making those things. Those things? Yaokuji looks at everything in front of him and his face turns pale. It seems that all these things in front of him are beyond the scope of impact that Yaokuji can accept. He looks at the monsters on the murals foolishly and does not dare to imagine whether this is what happened in reality. The colorful frescoes depict the real hell with quite sophisticated brushwork. Broken human limbs, broken limbs of Warcraft everywhere, and those who are combined with Warcraft limbs, are crying. People and wild animals were forced to join together, to get the monster that let people take cold air. My daughter should not. When Yaokuji spoke, his breath was unsteady and his lips trembled. He didn't even dare to finish this sentence. Where there are murals like this, what kind of treatment will his daughter get? This kind of combination can only be done when there is certain strength. Ordinary people can't bear it at all, and they will die on the spot. Dr. Yao, isn't your daughter a young talent? This is very rare, they will not easily choose to lose a young talent of the child. Long Qingxie pushes Yaokuji's shoulder and leads him to the dark. With Long Qingxie's words, Yaokuji's mood stabilized a bit, and he kept muttering to himself all the way. Yes, it won't happen so easily, it won't. For Yaokuji's self-talk, Yunwoo has some sympathy in her heart. While resisting the seemingly omnipresent gaze, she puts forward some problems in her heart to Long Qingxie. We're coming in, don't they know? Why didn't anyone stop us? Long Qingxie said with a mysterious smile, Dr. Yao, you have to answer this question. How do you know that I came in? Yaokuji looks at Long Qingxie in surprise. His spirit has been strained to a certain extent now. If Long Qingxie doesn't make it clear, he can't take Long Qingxie as one of those people. At that time, you verified the usage of the moon flower and knew that you could take the moon flower into the door. But you didn't tell us what happened later. Actually, you've been through this door once, haven't you? It's just that for some reason, you have to quit and wait for the right time to come in again and save your daughter. Long Qingxie walks behind Yaokuji's side with Yunwoo and says his speculation casually. Why do you come in with me when you know I have something to hide from you? Yaokuji suddenly stopped, looking at the dragon with gloomy eyes. Long Qingxie said with a smile, because I don't want to sun those moonflowers. It's too troublesome. Now that you know, help me to pave the way. Yaokuji's eyes are fierce. He presses his hand on his waist, draws out a dagger steeply and stabs the dragon without hesitation. But, in the next second. Brush. A cold light passed by. A stab of pain hit Yaokuji's wrist, and the dagger fell directly, not even a piece of cloth of Long Qingxie's clothes. Yaokuji looks at the silver needle on his wrist, his eyes are gloomy and angry. Dragon Qing evil mouth slightly young, deep eyes, is the bloodthirsty evil spirit, looking at Yaokuji. If I'm not wrong, after entering this stone gate, if it's not from here, then if outsiders take this road, they need someone to sacrifice. The last time you came in, you didn't know how to escape death. This time, you brought us here to give you a chance to complete the life sacrifice, right? These, the dragon inclines the heresy to rise, seem to see with one's own eyes. General Light smile to say. One side of the cloud dance, the bottom of the eyes suddenly sink, a very cold brush. Although, it's a little suspicious, but it's unexpected that Yaokuji's role in his father's aspect is quite capable of acting. It turned out that from the very beginning, I was trying to find them as paving stones. That's right. No one will die on this road. It's impossible. It's no use if you don't want to die now. As long as no one dies, the road will never end. With these words, Yao Kushi looks at Yunwoo again, with a very uncomfortable smile. Two people have to die to get through this road. This is what one of my healers told me. I can't live today, but you, too. Cloud Dance, quite interested in Yao Kushi, asked, why can't I live? Haha, can't you see that? Dragon 4 is sure to kill me. Next, one more person will die. Only in this way can there be an exit. Do you think you will kill your useless brother or commit suicide? When Yao Kushi talks, he laughs. There is some red silk in his eyes. He looks crazy. He is not normal. However, Yunwoo held his chest in his hands and said to the dragon with a smile, do you hear me? He said that you would either kill me or commit suicide. How do you choose? Is that an idiot question? Of course, no matter what the answer is, she won't allow Long Qingxie to follow her. She really lost her life in this ghost place. However, she just wanted to see how the man chose in this situation. However, Long Qingxie laughed, you little thing, you know how to make trouble for your husband, don't you? But don't worry. I don't have any other skills. I have a lot of skills to live. Come and kiss one. After that, he directly extended his long arm, took Yunwoo into his arms, and gave Yunwoo a kiss in front of Yao Kushi. Cloud Dance frown, instant dislike like, lift hands of push open that man also want to come up with the mouth. Well, don't go too far. Yunwoo really didn't expect that Long Qingxie, a man with such thick skin, would come to tease Yao Kushi in front of her. At that time, he was depressed and speechless because he couldn't steal a chicken. As for Yao Kushi, he didn't expect to see two men matched by brothers have such intimate behavior. He was silly at that time. You are not here to save my sister. After thinking about it for several rounds, Yao Kushi finally realized that he might be the first one to be cheated, and his face was even more ugly. Long Qingxie glanced at him and said with a sneer, I have many sisters, but none of them can save me. Many sisters? Cloud Dance hears here, eyebrow picked for a while, the line of sight in the dragon inclined evil to see one eye. To tell you the truth, he hasn't told her about the identity of the dragon. She only knows that the mysterious dragon Xiao, who is famous outside, is him. But that was all she knew. In fact, it is not so much that she cannot trust him, but rather that he has never really opened himself up. How can she give her complete trust? He wants mystery and she wants safety. You lied to me. You lied to me. Yao Kushi is like a big angry dog, wandering around in the same place. Well, I don't care about you anymore, but you say that if you have a way, you can go there without death, and you should take me with you, otherwise, there will be no one behind to show you the way. Yao Kushi's eyes are red, breathing, and his eyes are full of madness. You want to come with us? It's very simple. Put some blood on it. Dragon Qing Evil also didn't refuse, directly kicked the dagger that fell on the ground to Yao Kushi, and told him indifferently. Yao Kushi's suspicious eyes fell on Long Qingxie's face. He didn't know whether he should believe him or not. Dragon Qing Evil has no patience. Cold way, don't bleed, leave life, oneself choose. I bleed. Yao Kushi yelled in a hurry. He held a dagger on his arm for several times. Then he closed his eyes and gritted his teeth. He cut a wound on his forearm. He cried in pain, holding the bleeding wound to the dragon, and asked, what's next? Just go ahead and keep the blood dripping on the road. Long Qingxie points to the corridor where there is a bright lamp in front, but it's dark and dark. He tells us the solution. Yao Kushi originally thought that he could stop bleeding in time, but he didn't expect to keep bleeding. But now he has difficulty riding a tiger, so he has to go on. After Yao Kushi, Yunwoo asks the dragon, how do you know the solution here? How else can I know? Someone told me, of course. Long Qingxie said the word, Shangguan, in the shape of his mouth, but he didn't say it. It seemed that he didn't want to leave Shangguan's name in the corridor. His action, It's easy to evoke the feeling of Cloud Dance to the mysterious eyes. Cloud Dance subconsciously looked around, but at this time, really on a pair of glass bead-like eyes. Yunwoo took a cool breath, subconsciously clenched her fist, almost crushed the bone of Long Qingxie's hand. She didn't scream or turn away from her eyes in fright. She was as proud as she was. Even in such a terrible time, she stared at those eyes and confronted each other. Dragon Qing Evil Hand a pain, bowed to see Cloud Dance, eyes straight looking at the dark depths. His eyes were totally different from those when Yunwoo was controlled. He saw the chill in Yunwoo's eyes and seemed to understand that Yunwoo was fighting with something he could not see or even feel. "Don't you follow?" Yao Keji walked in front of him. When he looked back, he found that both of them had stopped, so he stopped cautiously. It is obvious that Long Qingxie knows a lot about this channel, especially the way to crack this channel. He has to rely on each other, and he really does not dare to leave too far. "Shut up." Long Qingxie rebuked Yao Keji in a cold voice. He watched the Cloud Dance attentively, for fear that if one didn't pay attention, she would have an accident. And with that pair of eyes of Cloud Dance, the heart is set off numerous waves. Just when Yunwoo's self-conscious spirit was about to be unable to support, the glass eyes suddenly flashed, like the stars hidden in the night sky, disappeared in the depths of the dark corridor. Cloud Dance suddenly lost the goal of confrontation. The whole person is like a tug of war, the other party let go first, unable to find the center of gravity of the backward past. "Little thing." Dragon Qing Evil Eyes quickly caught her, this just from Cloud Dance, temporarily distracted, fell on his back. Yunwoo holds the hand of Dragon Qingxie, and her vision is still inseparable from the depth of the corridor. She urges, "Go, hurry, let's go." "Little thing, what do you see?" Long Qingxie has a strong uneasiness about the appearance of Cloud Dance. With the dragon's words, the corridor suddenly quieted down. In addition to the sound of blood dripping on Yao Keji's arm, there was only the voice of Yunwoo's emotional panting. At the far end of the corridor, the two voices came back together and mixed together to form some strange rhythm. "What I see is what I don't want to see in my life." Cloud Dance looked at the dragon and said, "It's too late, go quickly." "Good." Long Qingxie saw the clear look of Cloud Dance's eyes, and there was no delay immediately. With Yao Keji's blood, they really got out of the corridor that seemed to never end. After stepping out of the corridor, both Yao Keji and Long Qingxie were surprised at the sight. There is no hell like the mural, and there are not many prisoners and guards. In front of them was a beautiful valley full of flowers. Yao Keji didn't have time to enjoy such a relaxing scenery. He bled all the way and was busy shaking his hands to stop bleeding. Cloud Dance asked the dragon, "We didn't get to the distance across the mountainside. Where is this?" "Little thing, look carefully with your eyes. Everything in front of you is not as simple as you see." Cloud Dance Smell Speech, according to the dragon said, "Close your eyes, with the spiritual power to perceive everything in front of you and around you." The spiritual power spreads around with ripples, like a lake wrinkled by the spring wind, rippling in circles. As the spiritual power of Cloud Dance comes into contact with those colorful scenes, a shocking scene begins to appear in Cloud Dance's mind. Those colorful flowers, branches of lush green trees, even in the blink of an eye into still with flesh and blood Mori bones. And the lush grass, also from the rich green, into a sticky red. Those grass, unexpectedly all melt into a thick dark red plasma. The spiritual power was quickly recovered by the Cloud Dance like a waterspout. She opened her eyes and looked at the lush and beautiful picture in front of her. Her whole body was cool from the skin to the bone marrow. What a terrible illusion. When Yunwoo closed his eyes, he always felt that the picture he had just felt was still in front of his eyes. Long Qingxie said, "Yes, who can take precautions against such a cluster of flowers and trees? When we really enter the Blood Sea and Corpse Mountain, the resentment of those warcraft before and after death will be enough to affect our mind and make us become the victims of killing each other." Yaokaji didn't know what they were talking about, but he also understood that there was something wrong with the flowers in front of him, even terrible. He immediately stepped back and didn't dare to touch the flowers. Dr. Yao, you don't even know here. Long Qingxie examined Yaokaji and said to him, you don't seem to have any value in leading the way, do you? I beg you, I know some of the way back, really, I really know. Yaokaji trembled violently, and almost reached the ground on all fours to the foot of Long Qingxie, pleading with him. Long Qingxie glared at Yaokaji's humble pleading, his eyelids moved, and finally said to him, for your daughter's sake, I'll take you with me. You'd better not play tricks on me. I know, I know. Yaokaji fell to the ground as if he had been granted amnesty and asked Dragon, there's something wrong with the flowers. How can we get there? In fact, he was worried that he would be bloodletting this time. According to this consumption, he can't see his daughter at all, so he has to go to hell first. Cloud Dance looked at the sea of flowers for a long time and said calmly, since it's something in the way, it's okay to burn it. Little thing, you'd better burn it. Long Qingxie habitually leans on the Cloud Dance and presses the Thai body on the Cloud Dance. When he is injured, it is always like this, so that even the Cloud Dance doesn't realize it. For them now, this posture is too ambiguous. This, no fire, how to burn it? Yaokaji looked at the two broken sleeves foolishly and didn't know what to do next. Yunwu glanced at him, but didn't say much. As soon as the palm of her hand turned, a fire element condensed into a fire whip and jumped into shape in her hand. Then, as soon as she raised her hand, she directly threw the fire whip forward. A few whips down, the enchanting flower Haiden became a sea of fire all over the mountains. In this place, ordinary fire can't help this illusion, but the cloud dancing fire is more special. It is the original fire that has been used before. After many times fusing with her fire elements, it forms the result of variant fire elements. Burning the illusion of this area should not be a problem. In the raging fire, there are countless wild animals roaring and wailing, flowers withering and withering, bones showing their true faces. When the withered bones all over the ground appeared ferociously, a winged bird with only white bones came from afar. On the spine of the winged bird sat a man in black and a mask. Because of the distance, Yunwu could not see clearly what the totem on his mask was. The man on the winged bird stood up, raised his hand and made a virtual stroke in the air, which just happened to be the range of withered bones all over the ground. How dare you set fire to the Valley of Beasts? Do you really think that if you can pass the gate of death, you are qualified to show off here? That person tone is very arrogant, in his opinion, maybe they are just ants. It's just a dead door. It's a cover-up. I just want to stop others. I don't think the beast gate is very good. As soon as the cloud dance hands turned over, a thin sword came out, and his feet moved, he immediately stood in front of the dragon's evil body, and his posture of defending was not clear. Yaokaji was looking at them, looking around with his eyes. He didn't know what he was looking for. The man on the winged bird said angrily, "How dare you talk to me like this?" Long Qingxie hissed and yelled to the man, "Jade Snake, she dares to fight. Are you afraid?" Before he spoke, the man on the winged bird nearly fell down with a stagger. Have you ever dealt with Jade Snake?" Long Qingxie listened to his voice and raised his mouth slightly with hidden fear. If people in this place look down upon them in this way, the people who are sent to deliver the message must be more humble. Think about it, Jade Snake has the qualification to bark twice in front of Nangong Yi. It's better than this microphone. Yes, and I'm standing here intact, but Jade Snake can't come back. Yunwu didn't expect that Long Qingxie would cheat people like this. He was also convinced and had to accompany him to play. The man on the winged bird hesitated and finally manipulated the white bone winged bird to fly back to the original road quickly. Yunwu turned around and said to the dragon, "Don't you mean to make them more alert?" "That's just right. It's better that all the powerful characters get together, and we don't have to look for them one by one." The dead bones on the ground were all burnt to a dark color, one by one shining like polished black iron sticks. "Where's Yaokaji?" Yunwoo looks for the route through these dead bones. When she goes to find Yao Keji, she finds that he's gone. Run away. Long Qingxie shrugs his shoulders, a posture that he has nothing to do with me. He's crazy, isn't he? Yunwoo can't understand what Yao Keji is doing. Dragon Qingxie grabs the hand of Cloud Dance and goes through the terrible dead land together. There was a burning smell in the air. Long Qingxie said, "A doctor who can cheat others to die, who can say he is not crazy?" Cloud Dance was silent for a moment, shrugged and said indifferently, "I hope he is lucky and can find his daughter." That's what I said, but Yunwoo and Long Qingxie are very clear that the people of the Beast Gate must hide the stolen child in a secret place. It's impossible to find a child in this outer boundary. Just after they passed through the dead bone field safely, 3 big white bone-winged birds flew towards them side by side. Long Qingxie Tut said, "The speed is quite fast, not much worse than the living winged birds." "You still have the heart to say this, go." Cloud Dance pulled Dragon Qing evil sleeve, directly took him to the dry bone ground is facing the cave rushed in. If you put it in peacetime, Yunwoo would never have such a scurry. But today, Long Qingxie doesn't know which way to go mad. When the enemy is strong and the enemy is weak, he still takes the initiative to provoke the other side. Little thing, it's not. Long Qingxie raised his eyes and saw a few big characters above the cave. He wanted to pull Yunwoo back. But unexpectedly, under the habitual force of rushing forward, he was taken into the cave by Yunwoo. At the moment when the two figures completely disappeared into the cave entrance, something was thrown out of the sleeve of Dragon Qingxie and fell on the scorched ground silently. After entering the cave, Yunwoo found that there was something strange in it. The biggest problem is that it's as cold as ice. Long Qingxie, what did you say about it? Cloud Dance remembers the half-sentence that Dragon Qingxie didn't finish, and has a bad premonition in her heart. You can't get in here. With the sound of cha in Long Qingxie's hand, a small torch lit up. But Yunwoo found that the bright fire could only light up the square inch in front of their toes. The light, like being swallowed by the darkness around, has no trace. Long Qingxie, what is this place? Cloud Dance also lit a flame in the palm of his hand, which was a little bigger than the torch in the hand of Dragon Qingxie. In fact, it was not much different. Don't want to waste power, Cloud Dance palm in a flash, put out the flame in the hand. Long Qingxie pursed his lips and looked at the Cloud Dance. With a headache, he said, the dead cave, the person who intrudes by mistake will surely die. How did he tell you so much that little time that day? Long Qingxie doesn't mention the name of that person, and Yunwoo only uses he cautiously. However, she really can't think of any chance that day for these two people to say so many things. However, for the curiosity of Cloud Dance, Dragon Qingxie just a ran smile. I'll let you know when I've finished the task entrusted by him. Seeing that the dragon was not worried at all, Yunwoo asked, so, do you have a way out of here? Come with me. I'm reluctant to kill you. Long Qingxie and Yunwoo sneak all the way to the depth of the dead hole, by the light of the fire with extremely low visibility. Outside the entrance of the dead hole, 3 big white-winged birds stay in the air, looking down at the black hole. There's no doubt that these two people will die. They will rush into the den of death, in a hurry. They are really looking for the door to die. A tall and thin man with white hair and black clothes and a mask laughed coldly. The voice of his voice should be an old man named Longzhong. The other two people on the white bone-winged bird also laughed with laughter. They really didn't laugh at the stupid things done by the two unknown invaders. They were sorry for them. A smaller winged bird flew towards them. Besides the person who had talked to them before, there was another person on the winged bird. Yao Keji. Just as Yunwoo and Long Qingxie expected, the guy who escaped secretly was caught because he couldn't do anything. Elder, this is the hateful person who brought those two people in. The masked man sitting with Yao Keji bowed respectfully to the elder's luggage. It seems that the other party's status should be very high. The man on the white bone-winged bird beside said coldly, is that him? Send it to feed Warcraft. No one on the other two white bone-winged birds had any opinions. Naturally, the people who captured Yaokuji were happy to follow orders. When Yaokuji heard that he was going to become the fodder for feeding Warcraft, he was immediately disillusioned. Thinking of his daughter crying for help when she was robbed by these people, Yaokuji knelt down to the elder. Elder, the people who forced me to lead the way here are not ordinary people. Don't despise them. Besides, I have a way to deal with them. I can help you. As long as he can save his daughter, he doesn't care if you will kill more people. Yunwu and Longqingxi in the Cave of Death are not aware of Yaokuji's defection. Of course, even if I knew, it didn't seem like a big accident. Yunwu follows Longqingxia, and they walk in the dark cave with the light of the torch in Longqingxia's hand. That's it. Walking to a corner, Longqingxia stops, and his voice is a little excited. Yunwu looked at this place, because it was dark and could not see the difference between this place and other places. I really don't know how Longqingxia can distinguish the location here. Cloud Dance is thinking. Dragon Qing evil hands suddenly appear at 8 trigrams compass. 8 diagrams compass. Is there such a thing in this alien world? Cloud Dance pick eyebrow of thought for a while, of course, soon also put away. If we don't find the wrong place, this thing can take us out. Longqingxia holds the compass in his palm and looks deep into the cave, as if his eyes can penetrate the thick ink-like darkness and see the end of the cave. The compass was extremely simple, so simple that the Cloud Dance felt simple. In addition to the basic direction signs and heavenly stems and earthly branches, there is nothing. What's more, these things look like who drew them temporarily. They are even a little crooked and difficult to identify. As for the material of the compass, it seems that it is impossible to say. In any case, it is just a piece of wood picked up by hand and cut out a rough shape with a knife. Yunwu just looked at the dragon, like a Taoist, walking around the corner with a compass, looking down from time to time. The posture is very professional. If it wasn't for such a situation and place, Yunwu would think that Longqingxi's sideline was feng shui. After a while, Longqingxia seems to have finally determined his way out. He shouts to Yunwu, "Little thing, come here and follow me. No matter what you see for a while, don't pay attention to it. Just take it as if you didn't see it." Cloud Dance smells speech, can't help looking at him one eye, when see his that pair of deep eyes of serious, in the heart how many also guess things may not be simple. He nodded seriously and followed him closely. But the next thing Longqingxia did was to make Yunwu hesitant. Because, Dragon Qing evil unexpectedly straight toward the inner wall of the cave rushed past. Only Cloud Dance Lungshan Kung Fu, Dragon's foot has entered the cave wall, into the stone. Come on, little thing. Longqingxia expected that she would be surprised, so he leaned forward and stretched out a hand to her. The Cloud dances to slow the moment that God comes, also no longer delay, stretch out a hand to hold Longqingxia's hand, borrow his run-up impulse, 2 people at the same time to the hard stone wall to bump up. Although we know that Longqingxia won't do anything unreliable, Yunwu frowned subconsciously when he passed through the stone wall. When passing through the wall, Yunwu only felt as if he had been stuffed into a dense sponge. The whole person was squeezed into some deformation, but there was no pain. The big hand holding her hand pulled hard, and the fierce wind beat on her. Yunwu found that she had reached an open area from the closed and stuffy cave. It's just that this place really can't make people happy for the rest of their lives. In front of them is a flat square covering a vast area. Many tall trees are planted around the square. The trees close to each other surround the square and form a natural barrier. Such a green place should make people feel comfortable. However, the huge Warcraft bones that were made into specimens on the square had blood-red array patterns with horrible and strange feeling on the ground. Probably because of the array, the sky above the square is dark with a layer of blood, which makes people creepy. It's like a huge cemetery. After it's carefully arranged, it's sealed with the corpses of countless Warcraft. Long time ago, like a sharp file, has worn away the skin, flesh and muscles of those Warcraft, leaving only the polished white bone, which still stands here, never to see the sun. So it is. Long Qingxie looked at the vast square in front of him, as if he had understood something. What do you see? Since Yunwu entered the stone gate, he didn't know anything with his eyes black. He unconsciously depended on the dragon. I always thought that the people of the Beast Gate were not afraid of retribution. Unexpectedly, they were more afraid than anyone else. Dragon Qing Evil hook up the corner of the lip, but there is no smile at the bottom of the eye. Cloud Dance has not had time to continue to ask Dragon Qing Evil. Two people at the same time notice behind a few can't check the sound. Yunwu and Long Qingxi turn around for the first time, and the expected black mask doesn't appear. The man who came to them had a white face, a pair of red phoenix eyes slanting upward, with some sharp. The man was wearing a gorgeous emerald robe, which was embroidered with dense patterns similar to jade patterns. His clothes were gorgeous but not pompous, which only made him more outstanding. What attracts Yunwu's attention most is his eyes. This person is actually a two-color pupil. His left eye is blue and his right eye is as clear as gold. Seeing the hostility between Yunwu and them, the man said with a gentle smile, "Sorry, I haven't seen anyone here for a long time. It's a bit impolite. I'm Chong'an." "What do you call me? Who are you?" Not only did Yunwu not relax because of his explanation, but he took a step sideways and stood shoulder to shoulder with Long Qingxi, in a defensive posture. People in the Beast Gate, whether they wear masks or not, have to guard against it. "I just live here, not here." With a smile, Chong'an's eyebrows were too sharp, and unconsciously brought out the temperament similar to that of the dragon. "Why do you live in such a place?" "It's a special guest." Long Qingxie looked back at the bones and didn't agree with him. "I don't want to live here if I can, but my home is too far away for me to go back." When Chong'an spoke, he lowered his eyelashes and cast a lonely shadow in the two-color pupil like a Persian cat. At that time, Yunwu had the illusion that this luxurious and precious man would cry the next second. "It's kind of weird." Long Qingxie looked up and down at Chong'an's clothes and asked him, "Do you want to say that you are imprisoned by the people of the Beast Gate?" "I have answered your question. Should you also answer me a question? How did you get here?" Chong'an did not answer Long Qingxie's words. He focused on the largest skeleton deep in the square. "If I say that we were captured by the people of the Beast Gate, do you believe it?" Long Qingxie's answer seems true or false, and Chong'an's 4 or 2,000 caddies, it can be said that no one will give up. Two equally arrogant men bumped into each other. Although they were both laughing, the atmosphere became more and more tense. Chong'an said with a smile, "Of course not. They won't put the people they've captured here because they don't dare." With these words, it can almost be concluded that he must not have been imprisoned here by the Beast Gate. On the contrary, it sounds more like the people of the Beast Gate, who are afraid of him. Dragon Qing Evil mouth a hook, but without any smile ground cold voice way, "Since don't believe, that don't ask." Chong'an looked at the dragon with a headache and frowned. But at last, he focused on Yunwu. He stared at Yunwu and measured it in his eyes. At that moment, it was like a breeze blowing away the loneliness on Chong'an's face. The dragon's evil eyes are sharp. Chong'an felt the bad side of Dao Long Qingxie. He turned his eyes with a smile and looked at the dragon Qingxie again. He said with a smile, "Well, I'll ask the last question. Do you want to get out of here?" Chong'an's two-color pupil is shining with charming luster, and its thin and ruddy lips are slightly raised, like a nightmare that is good at tempting people. Dragon Qing Evil slightly squints at Chong'an, the strong to the strong, just like a beast meets the same kind, both the same kind and the opponent. At the first sight of Chong'an, Long Qingxie felt like this. Yunwu's eyes are slightly cold. It seems that Chong'an is not locked up. "What? After you ask, are you going to show us the way?" Cloud Dance cold hook mouth corner of the rhetorical question. "No, the road is up to you." The emerald halo appeared in Chong'an's hand. The halo was light in color. Yunwu only felt like a transparent jade. Chong'an throws the light mass in his hand into the mid-air. The gloomy and bloody sky is like meeting the gasoline of Mars, hula rolling up the red flame. The flame is like a greedy warcraft, galloping all the way to the distance, which burns the sky clean in the blink of an eye. After the bloody sky was burned, it was like a magic hand playing in the sky. The wrong hand sprinkled a large amount of brilliant sunshine, shining on the bloody and gloomy place. Beat them and you can go out. Chong'an looks up at the sky, with an invisible struggle under his eyes. Under the white clouds, there are several white-boned winged birds hovering silently. Because the colors are too similar, when their shadows overlap with the clouds, people can't even distinguish their tracks. You dare to break into the forbidden area of our beast gate. Today, I'll make atonement with your life. On the back of the biggest winged bird, an old masked man stood up. He looked down at Yunwu and others. Even from such a distance, Yunwu could feel the coldness of his eyes. Long Qingxie chuckled, almost provocative to the old man, since you want our life, you should come down and take it yourself. Along the way, she knew the man's temperament very well. He would never be a soft person, and occasionally he was quite arrogant. However, his physical condition is not suitable for hands-on. And the Chong'an around him, even if he is not an enemy, is definitely not a friend, but he suddenly helped them to break the game in the sky. What's his purpose? Yunwu has a lot of vigilance in his heart. However, when Yunwu looked to the place where Chong'an stood before, he found that there was no one beside her except Dragon. And the man? Cloud Dance frowns of to Long Qing evil ask away. At this time, Long Qingxie had a strange attitude, and suddenly whispered a few words to Yunwu. After hearing the words of Long Qingxie, Yunwu was shocked. Long Qingxie looked at the white-winged birds in the air lazily, and sighed. Faintly, his arrogance became stronger and stronger. Little thing, this beast gate is really fun. It seems that the 10,000 beast men on the white-bone-winged bird haven't seen Chong'an from the beginning. In their eyes, there are only clouds and dragons. Today, let me give you a ride. In my next life, I will remember that some places can't be entered. The person who wants to fight is not the elder who has been talking before, but another old man beside him. When the elder saw the man's hand, he laughed and said, "Third, you should take it lightly. At least you should leave a corpse for the two younger generation. I never know how to make it lighter. Let's see how they make it." The three elders laughed and confessed that the bony winged bird leaped down from his back. He had 2 arms, a dark robe, big sleeves, and clapped in the wind. He looked like a fat bat. After landing, the 3 elders flipped their sleeves, held their hands behind them, and said contemptuously, "You two can do it together, and I'll save some time." Cloud Dance looked at the 3 elders wearing a strange bat mask, and gradually became alert and cold. Because she couldn't see through the strength of the 3 elders. However, at this time, the ear whispered the dragon's evil voice. "Little thing, don't panic. This old guy just used some tricks to cover up his real strength." Immediately, Long Qingxie put one hand on Yunwu's shoulder, and his mouth was full of evil spirits. He said to the 3 elders with 3 parts of smile and 7 parts of sarcasm, "Old man, you are not worthy to let my daughter-in-law do it. I can think about it when the master of the beast sect comes. It's not up to you to do it or not." Suddenly I heard that Long Qingxie despised the beast gate so much that he called himself his daughter-in-law as a young man. The 3 elders thought that Long Qingxie deliberately humiliated him. Immediately, he was furious, and then he attacked the dragon. Dragon! Stand back! Cloud Dance eyes bottom elite, in the hand thin sword has already come out, the flame magma tumbles on it, is about to block this attack for the dragon Qingxie. But at this time, unexpectedly, he was pushed to the safe place behind him by the dragon. "Little thing, I can't rely on you to protect my husband every day. Isn't my husband really a soft eater?" Before Long Qingxie's words were heard, the 3 elders had already clawed at Long Qingxie's heart. This scene let Cloud Dance face a change, heart a tight. But at this time, the crude wooden 8 trigrams appeared again in Long Qingxia's hand. Surprisingly, with the 8 trigrams in his heart, he rebounded the 3 elders' claws. That's the 3 elders, who had been shot away, had some ferocious eyes. They looked at the wooden 8 trigrams in Long Qingxia's hand for several times. They were not sure what kind of weapon it was. He could only look hard, wave his arms together, and make a wall of virtual shadow in front of the dragon. Compared with the urgent attack of the 3 elders, the evil radiance of the dragon's evil mouth deepened a little, and his feet moved slowly. The crude wooden gossip was swayed around by him at random, and he avoided the 3 elders' vicious claws again and again. Boy, who sent you here? The 3 elders couldn't attack for a long time, and they were playing hide and seek all the time. He swept back about 2 or 3 sticks, and inquired about the dragon with anger. The beast gate has done so many good things. Didn't you expect this day? I can give you a chance to guess who it is. If you guess right, I'll leave you a whole body. The dragon's evil voice was smiling, but his face was cold as hell Shura, and the radiance of his lips looked more like the evil pride of laughing at the people in front of him. Boy, it's arrogant enough. Good. Good. I'll never let you talk again. I saw that the 3 elders' eyes suddenly turned red under the provocation of Long Qingxia, and their hands began to spread a layer of strange gray hair. They looked more and more like a big bat. Yunwu, who was protected by the dragon's evil spirits, frowned. At the bottom of her heart, she wanted to step forward for a time, because the feeling of being protected behind a man made her feel too strange. However, the man in front of her is holding her hand tightly, as if to say that a man should protect his woman. Originally, I didn't know what to do, but gradually, Fengxi felt a little nervous, and he could not help holding the hand of Long Qingxia. Perhaps, at this moment of mood, even if she went to work with the 3 elders, Cloud Dance would not have this strange tension. However, Long Qingxia's old wounds have not been healed recently. Why is he trying to be brave at this time? For her. Or at this time, Long Qingxia seems to be too lazy to talk nonsense with the 3 elders like this big bat. With a raise of his hand, he directly throws the wooden gossip into the air. I saw the crude wooden 8 trigrams, as if driven by something, straight into the sky. In the process, its size also rose in the storm. In the end, it covered the sky. Even the white-winged birds in the middle of the sky could not reach it. Oh, bravado! The 3 elders didn't show any uneasiness about this. The main reason is that the crude 8 trigrams are not on the top of the table. It seems that they are useless except for becoming bigger. Long Qingxia saw him like this, a cold meaning flashed in his dark eyes, and the corner of his mouth outlined the cold arc of evil. After releasing Yunwu's hand, he immediately made a seal between his hands. At first, the movement was a little difficult, but with the change of 10 fingers, it became more smooth. Cloud Dance looks at his 10 fingers moving like clouds and flowing water after Long Qingxia's side. Somehow, he suddenly feels a very terrible dangerous breath in his heart. The 3 elders also had this feeling, but the blind conceit of his own strength made him hesitate how to deal with it. With the formation of the seal, Long Qingxia's hands gradually emit light. The light color is emerald. It seems that Long Qingxia's hands are carved with jade. Third, back up. At the moment when the seal of Dragon Qingxia was finished, the elder came to drink in horror in the sky. What happened at the same time with his words was the light from the wooden gossip, and the white bone-winged bird in the sky suddenly went crazy and fell all the people on his back. The elder and others were better. Although they were in an awkward posture, they were not injured when they landed. But some of the less powerful disciples were really hurt. Several of them broke their arms and legs on the spot, collapsed to the ground and couldn't get up. The 3 elders looked at the other people's miserable situation, and then looked at themselves undamaged, a burst of sneer. That's it? How ridiculous, yes. Then you have to laugh. The dragon leans evil spirit, Yang's mouth opens, his words are full of words, his eyes are sharp and cold, and he waves to the white bone-winged bird in the sky. In that instant, those a few crazy white-winged birds, suddenly like a tamed wild dog, beast eyes ferocious, chi brushed toward the ground. It's so fast that almost no one reacts. The white bone-winged bird, which used to carry the elder, was the first to fly here. Its huge bone claws were caught on the back of the three elders. Needless to say, the clothes, even the skin and flesh were directly worn out. Its bone claw is like the hook hanging the pork from the pork stall. Only the three elders who are hanging it now are bloody and ferocious. Three elders' blood along with his pain screamed together sprinkles, splashed big elder and so on full face. Next. At the moment when the crowd was still stunned, the white bone-winged bird holding the three elders gave a long cry and threw the three elders down. Don't! Bang! The three elders screamed bitterly, and the sound of smacking a small pit on the ground made everyone shake. The white bone-winged bird is very good at choosing places. The three elders are fragmented and can't see the human body. It's just right that they smash in front of the elder and let him see clearly. Old 3. The elder's canthus are about to crack. He looks at the three elders' skin and bones, and his eyes fall on the old god's dragon Qingxie. Boy, I want your life. The elder, who was already mad because of his brother's tragic death, pounced on the dragon fiercely. His muscles swelled, and he quickly changed from a shriveled old man to a stout figure like a black bear. As he approached the dragon in front of the evil, his black clothes were almost broken. Yunwu clenched the sword in his hand and wanted to go forward. Be good behind me, believe me. But suddenly came the dragon Qing evil low magnetic voice. All the movements of Yunwu stopped under the sound. Although, I don't know what he wants to do. However, at this moment, Yunwu trusts him unconditionally. Long Qingxie looks at the elder with a bloody brush on his eyes, and his hands seal again. This time, he moves more smoothly and takes less time. Just 1 second before the elder's thick black palms were about to smash the dragon's evil head, a dazzling light burst out from the wood gossip in the sky. Fast. The light column sweeps on the ground like self-consciousness, leaving a deep gully. When the light beam swept to the elder, they only heard a poof. In that way, the elder burst into a blood mist in the light column, and was quickly evaporated by the power of the light column. As the elder disappeared, the light reflected back into the wood gossip. There was silence. Yunwu stands behind Long Qingxie. Seeing this scene, he takes a deep breath. He never knows that this strange and gossip thing can have such strange terrorist power. Just, this man, since he has such a skill, why don't he do it early? I prefer to get stuck in the last second. Do you want to show her excitement in front of her? Make her nervous about him? Cloud danced to the man in front of the body, suddenly a burst of depression and speechless. Now! All the members of the Beast Gate lost their speech ability to everything in front of them. The third elder, even the elder, died like this? The strength is second only to the big elder under the temple leader of this stronghold. He even has a whole body. No, he can't even leave a hair. Finally, the 10,000 beast sect disciples responded and gently climbed up carefully, trying to escape quietly. However, in such a situation where everyone is stiff, how can no one pay attention to him? When you have the first one to run away, you have the second one to follow in the blink of an eye. The 10,000 beast men on the square, as long as they can walk, or even climb, are running desperately to the outside of the square. Stop! Whoever runs will die. A flat thunder like violent drink, let all the disciples are conditioned to pause, their eyes are fixed on that, a man who is full of yin qi. It seems that they all have reasons to comply with this man, but everyone who stops looks very ugly. There was a rather weak question in the crowd. Elder 2, you have to avenge the other 2 elders. You have to avenge them. We are just forced to join. We are weak. Even if we fight for our lives, we can't beat that kid a hair. This sound seems to have caused a lot of people's agreement. Chang's chest heaved violently. As soon as he turned his hand, something appeared in his hand almost in an instant. He turned his hand and threw it at the leader. There was another panic in the crowd. All the people were like mice with hot paws. They ran everywhere to avoid the things thrown by the two elders. Cloud Dance and Dragon Ching evil line of sight swept away, naturally also see what those are. It's countless little centipedes. Red, it should be highly toxic. At this time, countless tiny centipedes crawled out of the body of the smashed 10,000 beast sect disciple. As soon as the body pulled out, it was just because the centipede crawled and pulled its muscles. I said, whoever runs will die. The ferocious sight of the second elder passed quickly on all the disciples' faces. At this time, no one dared to refute him. Running or not is death. Moreover, being blown into a blood mist by the light column is not more terrible than the death method in the beast gate. Who can run? Boy, if you kill my elder martial brother, I will pay for your lives. The two elders put cruel words in a gloomy and angry way. However, when the two elders came towards them, Yunwu always feels that this person's walking posture is very uncoordinated, like his legs don't bend very well. He walks very slowly and his knees are stiff to death. Let's forget it. You three brothers, let's get together. Long Qingxia laughs a little bloodthirsty. His hands sealed for the third time. This time, before Yunwu could see his gesture clearly, the light column with destructive power had swept towards the second elder. However, just when the pillar of light caged the whole two elders in, Dragon Qingxia's face suddenly changed, his eyes sank, and his eyes were stained with a trace of disbelief. What happened at this time inspired the disciples of the beast sect. After a short period of noise, a burst of cheers burst out. I saw that the two elders in the pillar of light were strangely unharmed. Think of before Big Elder directly burst into a blood fog, afraid as in the time of death, even oneself was killed didn't realize. What is the ability of these two elders to survive in the pillar of light? Cloud Dance and Dragon Poor Evil see this scene, also brush a trace of consternation, with doubt. The second elder sneered at the dragon in the pillar of light and said, Boy, your ability is to rely on these foreign things. Now, what else can you do? Don't think that if you can get out of the dead hole, you have the right to run rampant in our beast gate. Long Qingxia was silent for a moment, and his smile faded. His bright black eyes were staring at the two elders, as if he wanted to find out the problem. However, did not notice, originally standing behind the clouds, eyes suddenly a dark, as if by what to pull away from the soul of the general moment. At this time, Yunwu, who was always standing behind the dragon, suddenly stepped forward and attracted other people's attention. I didn't expect that people who have already died will still seek death wholeheartedly. As soon as Yunwu said this, the two elders immediately trembled and looked a little blue and blue. What the 8 trigrams can find is the life gate of the dead hole, which shows that its power is used on living creatures. As a dead person, even if he can follow the guidance to find your position, he can't feel your existence. In the cloud dance that words fall, on the scene 10,000 beast door disciple can't help a leng of dark sigh. The dead? Their second chief is always dead. How is that possible? However, at this time, the dragon has no psychology to deal with those things. Because, at this moment, he keenly felt that the smell of cloud dance suddenly became not right. It seems that the cloud dance in front of us is another strange breath. Who on earth are you? The two elders walk out of the light column projected by the 8 trigrams, and stare at Yunwu with a gloomy face. From his fierce and turbid eyes, it can be seen that he is determined to kill Yunwu. I didn't expect that, after so many years, today's branch of Wan woman would become like this. Yunwu didn't pay attention to the two elders. Her eyes were sorrowfully looking at the skeletons in the square, with mixed emotions in her eyes. Dragon Qing evil in this moment, the eye grounds suddenly a cold, determined in front of this person, really is not cloud dance. In other words, her body is controlled by something. You don't have to be nervous. I'm not here to take her body. Aware of the hostility of Dragon Qingxia, Cloud Dance turned around, the pair of distant eyes looked at him, coldly said to him. Long Qingxie's eyes were sharp, and he said coldly, "Before you say this, you leave her body first. I'd rather believe you. When you're done, it will be." Cloud Dance looked up at the wooden 8 trigrams that covered the sky, and there was a look of nostalgia in his eyes. She sighed, white and slender hands, with quite mysterious techniques began to seal. That handprint looks very similar to the one before Dragon's Evil, but it has subtle differences. Long Qingxie looked carefully and found that the fingers of Yunwu moved very slowly, but it was just that people couldn't see her movements clearly. Two elder originally because of Cloud Dance tell his secret, to Cloud Dance also some fear, think she is the master of these two people. But I was relieved to see that Cloud Dance had to be printed with 8 trigrams in the end. That gossip is of no use to him. You two boys, don't make a fuss in front of me, and die quickly. The scene that the Great Elder and the Third Elder lost their lives because they despised the enemy is still fresh in my mind. In order to avoid the long night dream, the Second Elder took advantage of the Cloud Dance to seal the seal. He leaned forward and wiped the ground with the back of his feet. A strange black fighting spirit burst out from him. It turned out to be a human figure in front of him. The fighting spirit of the figure was originally curled up in pain. After the two elders spat out a mouthful of blood, they immediately spread out their limbs and rushed to the Cloud Dance. The light in Long Qingxie's hand flashed, and the épée in pairs with the cloud dancing thin sword appeared in his hand. Without a moment's delay, he rushed directly to the fighting spirit of the figure. Long Qingxie doesn't like the uninvited guest in Yunwu's body, but he doesn't allow anyone to hurt Yunwu's body. Standing behind Long Qingxie, the Cloud Dance is making a seal. Seeing this scene, he takes back his eyes and continues to concentrate on his hands. On the other side of Long Qingxie, the two elders' fighting spirit grabbed Long Qingxie's épée with his bare hands. Unexpectedly, with only his strength, he let Long Qingxie's action stop. Now that you know that I'm not a living person, you should have heard of the power of death. Now, try it yourself. The second elder had the upper hand, and it was inevitable that he would be arrogant again. The strength of Long Qingxie's arm muscles soared, and the body of épée was covered with bloodlines, which seemed to flow like the blood channels of human beings. Since ancient times, have you ever heard of a real strong man who would kill himself in order to improve his strength? Long Qingxie sneers at Leng Dao. His attack is not slow. He splits a sword obliquely and quickly, and his aggressive hand is cut to pieces by him. What do you know? How many people in this world are just like me, with mediocre aptitude and inferior talent? If I hadn't risked my life to change everything now, I would not have been able to practice all my life. The second elder was very excited by the words of Dragon's Evil. He was shaking all over and growled at Dragon's Evil. The fighting spirit of the human figure seemed to feel the emotional fluctuation of the master, and the attack on the dragon was more and more fierce. Since the three elders, Long Qingxie has been relying on external forces. What Yunwu worries about is actually right. Now, because of the damage of the soul, the body has not recovered, let alone strength. Not long ago, Long Qingxie's body was attacked by the fierce human form, leaving several wounds of different depths. However, at this time, he was just like he was outside the Cave of Warcraft forest. He was always in front of Yunwu, like a high wall that would never fall down. He didn't retreat half a minute. In the fight between the two elders and Long Qingxie, it can be said that they have the upper hand. In addition to defense, Long Qingxie has no power to fight back. However, the second elder still felt a burst of fear, which filled his body. The source of the fear is always behind the dragon, lowering his head and focusing on the Cloud Dance in his hands. During the time when Long Qingxie resisted the two elders, the seal knot in the hands of Cloud Dance changed several times. It looked more like the seal knot used by Long Qingxie before. It was just the beginning. What Cloud Dance does now is a complete set. The two elders are more and more uneasy. They want to get rid of the dragon's evil as soon as possible and prevent the cloud dance from completing the whole set of seal knot. With the second elder's blood splashing on the human fighting spirit, Long Qingxie even heard a scream coming from the fighting spirit, as if there were real ghosts. For example, the speed of the fighting spirit of the human figure was more than doubled. In the short video of Long Qingxie, the opponent opened a bloody hole in his left shoulder. Cloud Dance looked at him distractedly, frowned and yelled, "Hold on a little longer." Dragon Qing Evil Head does not return to stand in front of Cloud Dance body, blood-stained face emerged a chilling smile, eyes gradually scarlet up. "Take care of yourself. If my woman's body is damaged, I will kill you," said the overbearing voice. At the end of the speech, the dragon's eyes became scarlet and bloodthirsty. Although he had lost a lot of blood, he cut his wrist on the blade of épée. Strangely, the blood did not flow to the ground along the sword body, but was absorbed by épée. With the dragon pouring evil blood to feed the sword, the red veins on the sword body become more and more bright. In the end, they all begin to have ruby-like luster. After putting the blood, Long Qingxie's face became pale. But the sneer on his face is more and more bloodthirsty evil spirit. Under the blade-like eyebrow, his eyes are cold and bright. "I didn't want to do it recently, but a dead man came to beg for death. I'll give you some face." Smell speech of two elder, disdain of nose hiss a, quite arrogant tone, just in time, this elder also along the way send you to see Yan Wangyi. After that, the two elders were ready to kill the dragon as quickly as possible. However, at this time, those two elder just return a pair of proud disdain of face up, abruptly brush once put on consternation. After he said that, Long Qingxie held the épée in both hands and cut directly at the two elders. Where the sword edge passes, the wind roars and the murderous spirit rises. The elder's face changed slightly. He hurriedly directed the human form to fight against Long Qingxie for a long time. But Long Qingxie didn't care about the wounds on his body. "It's scarlet and bloodthirsty. It's amazing." Wow! The sharp edge of épée cleaved on the two elders' shoulders. Under the control of Long Qingxie, he sliced the two elders from the left shoulder to the right lower abdomen directly into two parts. "Ah!" Scream, in an instant burst of air. His face changed and he began to tremble from the bottom of his heart. It turns out that the man didn't just rely on external things, but from the beginning, he didn't really show his ability. "I didn't expect that the second elder would be killed at the same time that the two elders split into two and broke their breath under the scream. The fighting spirit of the human form was exhausted and dissipated between the heaven and the earth." Long Qingxie looks at the body of the two elders who are not in peace. There was not a drop of blood on the corpse. The mask fell down because of the fall. Under the mask, there was a face covered with dead ash and thin in the iron blue. This person who has been dead for a long time, this time, is really dead. Long Qingxie moves slowly to support the ground with épée, looking coldly at those who are still in the same place, and their faces turn white. There is no need for him to speak. Under his gaze, none of those people dare to go. At the thought of this man killing 3 elders in such a short time, all of them seemed to be nailed in the same place and had no courage to move. "All right." Busy for a long time, Cloud Dance, the hands of countless flowers like seal knot. I saw that the knots were shining with golden light, forming a string, like butterflies flying in the wind, towards the center of the wood gossip in the sky. "Then you can go, too." The dragon turns around slowly and looks at Cloud Dance. "You should know the key to opening the array. When everyone is ready, open it." Cloud Dance does not care about the attitude of dragon. Just looking at the string of golden stream, some trance, some vicissitudes, and like some gloomy. "Well, don't be so nervous." Cloud Dance looked at the sharp eyes of the dragon, some meaningful way, that this is gone, but in the future, we may have a chance to meet. Finish saying, also didn't wait for the dragon to pour evil to make what reaction, a shallow light, schwa for a while, from Cloud Dance that eyes and twinkle but pass. Next second, Long Qingxie saw the man in front of him, and his eyes gradually recovered. However, Yunwoo wakes up and soon frowns. Rubbed some tingling head, what just happened? She remembers that after a stab in her head, something seemed to happen, but her memory was blank. What the hell happened? Cloud Dance can't help but lift eyes and look at the dragon who stares at him. However, he is stunned by the bloodstain of the wound on his body. What's going on? What happened just now? It's all right. With warmth and a little rogue smile, back to the face of the dragon again. With that, Long Qingxie goes to Yunwoo and reaches out his hand to hold her in his arms. However, Long Qingxie took a step, his face suddenly changed, and a mouthful of fresh blood came out of his mouth. At the same time, his whole person is like a collapsed sand pile, and he immediately falls to the ground. Cloud Dance see this moment, heart suddenly a draw. Fortunately, at the moment of falling to the ground, Long Qingxie knelt down on one knee, holding on to his side with one hand and the handle of épée with the other, so that he could barely avoid the scene of falling. Long Qingxie, how can you do this? What just happened? Cloud Dance is almost subconscious, quickly bent over to support Long Qingxie to sit down on the ground, and the sight naturally noticed the unhealed wound on his wrist. The wound seemed to have been cut by the sword in his own hand. What happened and how could it be so embarrassing? Is it just that her body was controlled by what? At the thought of this possibility, Yunwoo's face was suddenly gloomy. However, at this time, Yunwoo wanted to see the injury of Long Qingxie, but Long Qingxie held his right hand. I'm fine. Long Qingxie took a few breaths heavily, and his breath was full of blood. Cloud Dance brow tight wrinkly, stare at him away, have no problem, why don't you refuse to let me give you feel a pulse? Well, little one, I'm afraid it's not the time to start a crime. Dragon Qing evil face with helpless, but holding Cloud Dance right hand action has not let go. He knows his body very well, but now is not the time for her to worry. Just then. In the distance, there were a few birdsong, and Long Qingxie stood up with épée as expected. With a gentle look in his eyes, he said to the cloud, little thing, you should protect yourself and take you away for a while. This silly man, this time should care about, should also be his own awe. She has the ability to protect herself, but now Yunwoo wants to show indifference in the past, but looking at the man standing in front of her, she seems to be unable to ignore it anymore. Ha! After a while. The sound of birds from the sky has come from far and near. At this time, the Cloud Dance could see clearly that there was a huge winged bird in mid-air, and on her back, she was carrying a white-haired old woman. Messy white hair, covering in front of the forehead, wearing a worn patch of farm clothes, sitting on the back of the winged bird. To tell you the truth, at first sight, I thought she was a beggar woman. But when Yunwoo's sharp eyes swept, her white hair under that pair of gloomy and strange white eyes, suddenly also some scared. White eyes? Isn't this the ghost pupil that is often shown in movies? I didn't expect that I could really see it in reality. At the moment I saw it, I really felt that my hair was up. This should be the current leader of the 10,000 Beasts sect. Dragon Qing evil low voice, gently from her ear. Cloud Dance pick eyebrow, the current leader of 10,000 Beasts. So this old woman is responsible for all this? I saw that the old woman came, white hair under the pair of white eyes, overcast swept around the eyes below. When I saw the body of the second elder and the third elder. Her white pupils seemed to be squinting in an instant, a strange and inexplicable smell, which spread from her as the center. Did you break into my beast gate and kill my son? Abnormal hoarse old voice, died with a puzzling creeps from the mid-air. What about her? Those three who just called themselves Marshall brothers are not brothers. Is this old lady right? Long Qingxie raised his mouth slightly and raised his eyes to look at the old woman. After hearing this, the old woman was not angry. She only used her dark eyes to stare at the dragon, which was very strange. Seeing this, Yunwoo felt a sense of foreboding at the bottom of his heart. As soon as he moved, he immediately stood beside the dragon. Wait a minute, don't be a hero, stand behind me. Yunwoo whispered to the man beside him. She knows something about the man's pride. However, in her eyes, no man has to stand in front of a woman. It's more important than anything to get out of here alive. Long Qingxie turns his head and looks at the woman around him. The corner of his mouth seems to deepen a little. There is an undercurrent at the bottom of his deep eyes. However, I didn't wait for the dragon to speak again. The old woman sitting behind the winged bird in mid-air, her hoarse voice rang out. It seems that you two want to compete with each other when you are dying. Good, good, good. See, in that inexplicable jia creepy laughter, the figure in the air suddenly jumped down. Quick and neat. In the twinkling of an eye, I saw that the old woman fell beside the body of the three elders who had been thrown to pieces. When the old woman landed, Yunwoo's eyes narrowed slightly. No legs. The empty lower part of the body, cut outside, is an upper part of the body, very abrupt. However, these are only the second. Because, the next scene, is Let Cloud Dance, even the dragon poor evil, all feel nausea scene. The old woman grabbed the bloody corpse on the ground with her bare hands and sent it to her mouth as soon as she fell to the ground. The sound of biting, ba chi, was bright red and dyed her white hair on her lips, which seemed to be a scene of delicious food. In a moment, all the disciples on the scene felt a tumbling in their stomach at this time. The crisis in Yunwoo's heart is deeper. His brow tightened, and he came close to the dragon and said in a low voice, "Wait a minute, you will leave first when you catch the chance, do you hear me?" "What? Are you worried about your husband?" At this time, the dragon was in a relaxed mood. Cloud dance sometimes, really some don't understand, this man in the end is what psychology, at this time, still in the mood of joking. However, at this time, the old woman who was eating the broken body suddenly made a creak sound. As if, it's the feeling of the bones and joints twisting. Cluck, quickly, the old woman's body suddenly protruded several bones. Tear. The tearing sound of the clothes being punctured. Only, her thin body, 8 white sharp bones, interspersed in the body on both sides of the exposed. What's that? Yunwoo looked at it and frowned. Long Qingxie's dark eyes narrowed slightly. It turned out to be a black widow. I thought it was a powerful role. Black widow? Is it? I haven't waited for Yunwoo to speak. The 8 white bones on the old woman's body extend towards both sides in an instant, with sharp limbs and rows of small but sharp spines on the side of the bones. It won't take a moment. 8 long sharp legs have been fully expanded, the original lean body, at this time by the 8 long legs support hanging in mid-air. And the face under the messy white hair, finally exposed in the outside. I saw that it was a distorted facial features. White eyes stare at them, blood-red lips stained with blood, showing 2 long teeth. Is this still a human? Anyway, it's like a mutant spider. Boy, you two have good strength. Now that you've come to my beast gate, don't leave. You'll stay together and let the old woman have a good appetite. Just now also hoarse voice, now become that harsh sharp. Long Qingxie's handsome face finally smiled down, extremely cold eyes show, you have a big appetite, but I'm afraid you don't have that ability. Haha, you're a big boy. Okay, I'll take you as an appetizer first. With a sharp voice, the old woman's white eyes were covered with blood and cold. All of a sudden, her white hair, like a spider spinning silk, shwa, filled the air and quickly attacked the dragon. Yunwoo's face sank, the sword in his hand flashed at the moment, and the fire element condensed in an instant. Back up. As soon as the shrill voice fell, the cloud danced, and the foot moved. The figure was like a shadow, and it went away. Long Qingxie looks at Yunwoo's quick action. On his cold face, he can't help but raise a smile arc. This stupid woman really takes him as a sick man. However, at this time, the dragon Qingxie, originally in the hands of the seal action quietly, but slowly stopped. Focus on the line of sight, on the woman who stood up for him. To be honest, How long has it been since he learned of his life experience that he has not been truly protected? The taste, I really miss it. Looking at the cloud dance, the deep black eyes of Dragon Qingxia unconsciously catch a touch of imperceptible soft light and cloud dance, in the body shape of a flash passed at the moment, the hands of the fine sword dyed with fire, rapid horizontal cut down. Hit white hair, such as steel wire, under the knife, actually set off bursts of sparks. However, the fire element in cloud dance is not an ordinary fire element after all. In a few seconds, the smell of scorching, white hair off. The old woman's face suddenly changed, and she suddenly took back her hair, which was cut and scorched. It seems unexpected that this seemingly weak boy can cut off her white silk. Damn it! The old woman was angry and narrowed her gloomy white eyes. Suddenly, her mouth opened, and a white mist suddenly came out of her tusks. Cloud dance since the hand, the body's muscles naturally in a full state of tension. At the moment when the white fog hit, the body twisted and flashed at a strange angle. ZZ. White fog fell on the ground, and a stream of white smoke rose in a moment. I saw that the ground had been corroded into a small hole. It's highly toxic with strong corrosiveness. Cloud dance eyes a cold, ridicule-like said, "Old thing, you this spitting habit, can be really enough disgusting. I don't know how your man can stand you." The old woman's face sank and she was a little angry. Cloud dance is in that next second, body shape in a flash, jump up with extremely fast speed. The sword was held high, the fire elements were fused and injected, and the moment the fire was rising, it fell fiercely towards the old woman. Yunwu is very clear in her heart that she is definitely not the opponent of this old woman. Therefore, we can only make a quick shot to see if we can take advantage of it. However, ka-dash. The sound of being resisted. Boy, if you want to hurt me, it's a little tender, but you're a weak boy, you still have some ability. The flesh and blood will be delicious. The old woman stares at Yunwu in a gloomy way. She just raises her two legs with her forelimbs to resist Yunwu's attack. At this time, is proud like Gaga said with a smile, by the way sucked the mouth of saliva, out of the tongue licked the blood-red lip. It's like watching some delicious food. To be honest, it's disgusting. Cloud dance that cool pupil mouth flashe to put on gloomy, kill idea full. However, after hearing her words, the corners of her mouth coldly outlined a curve. Old thing, you want to eat me, I'm afraid you can't bite. To say arrogant, in fact, sometimes, cloud dance is no less than dragon. However, when the old woman heard Yunwu's words, it was as if she had heard some big joke. Can't bite? Boy, how naive you are. You haven't really seen my black mother's ability, haha. Hainyang raised her head and laughed. Is it? The cloud dances the corner of the mouth to raise, but at that moment when the black Nyang raises her head and laughs, the wind element is wrapped in the body in an instant, the body shape is in a flash, and the residual shadow is brushed. At the same time, a few tiny things that were imperceptible threw into her mouth when she was not prepared. Hainyang is an old man. How can she be unprepared, but she is still too proud. In the moment of Aleng, the pill melted as soon as it was taken, which made her have no time to spit it out. However, in the face of the attack of Yunwu, Hainyang's reaction was extremely rapid. Her two sharp little serrated long legs went straight to attack. Dragon Qing evil see this, eyebrow a see you, eye ground brush once a touch of worry of nervous. But at this time, Yunwu changed his attacking posture, suddenly turned back and quickly retreated. Run. Maybe. Yunwu has never been an emotional person. When she knows that the head-on is not her opponent, she will not be silly and fight with her head-on. Therefore, in a retreat, when Hainyang's brush quickly attacked, the space element and wind element instantly changed, and the figure directly disappeared into the space element. Disappeared? The defeat of the attack made Black Nyang's face darken, and there was a trace of consternation. You know, with her ability and speed, even if the samurai comes, they will not be able to escape, not to mention a boy at the top of the 7th level. But immediately, her mind was a flash, and her white eyes shrank strangely. Space elements? Is it the rare element of space that hardly exists? Otherwise, it is absolutely impossible to disappear suddenly and avoid her attack. At that time, if it's really a space element, that kid is really talented. Young age is the peak of 7 levels, and the owner of space elements. If it develops in the future, then originally black face Black Nyang, later on think, that pair of strange white pupil but gradually rose a kind of abnormal potential in must get. Boy, you are not my opponent. You'd better surrender. As long as you are willing to surrender to me, I'll spare your life, otherwise. Black Nyang, that sharp voice, toward in the air shout. However, the words behind her didn't speak out, but, at the moment when the words fell, her white eyes swept by and directly locked on the dragon's evil body not far away. The cloud dance in the space element, watching her lock her eyes to Dragon Qingxia. How can you not understand her meaning? Eyes suddenly cold. Hide. It's not the way. However, Dragon Qing evil sighed, but in that Black Nyang cast to come over the line of sight, that pair of deep black eyes in the instantaneous swept a trace of bloody undercurrent. A silent killing opportunity has been set off in his heart. In front of him, just want to hit his woman's attention, simply live impatient. However, Long Qingxia didn't act immediately. Instead, his black eyes quietly welcomed the sight of the black lady, which gave people a kind of weak feeling of being seriously injured. Black Nyang's vision alock, confirmed that is a good start, food. The speed of starting is not slow at all. As soon as the white eye pupil glimmered, it didn't give anyone a chance to react. 8 legs moved quickly, and at a strange speed, they rushed to the dragon. Long Qingxia's mouth quietly sneers, and his eyes are bloodthirsty. However, the clouds in the air to see this, it is a shrinking pupil. At the bottom of my heart, my body suddenly flashed out. Long Qingxia, get out of the way. The wind elements of both hands are condensed, and countless wind blades have turned into sharp knives to attack the black girl who pours at the dragon. Chong Chong dash, I saw that the wind blade seemed to be smashed on the copper wall and iron sheet, but it was of no use to the black girl, and it didn't stop her from pouncing on the dragon. Damn it! Seeing that Long Qingxia is about to be attacked by Hainyang, Yunwu's face suddenly changes, and he rushes away quickly. But at this time, Long Qingxia quickly gave her a look. Also that look in the eyes, let the cloud dance movement stiffen Situ directly. Boy, although I can't improve my strength by eating you, it's just right to use you as an appetizer. As Hainyang said this, she had 4 long legs on her forelimbs and attacked the dragon at the same time. She wanted to cut the dragon directly. Long Qingxia seems to be waiting for this moment, and the evil spirit sneer blooms on his face. Is that right? Is that right? This boy, he really doesn't know what to do. At this time suddenly, a strange and dazzling golden light burst into the sky in an instant. The light beam directly enveloped the dragon Qingxia and Hainyang. See, in that instant, Black Nyang, that pair of white pupil mouths suddenly raised a burst of startled fear. What's this? The Black Nyang wants to withdraw for the first time, but the whole body is fixed in that instant. But it's not only that, there are waves of pain in my body, the outer ring. All they saw was a dazzling golden light, and nothing could be seen in the golden light. Of course, in the side of the cloud dance, we only see the golden light, but also can't see what happened in the golden light. However, just in a man's eyes, she understood. It turned out that the dragon had been ready for evil. Not a moment. Ah! A shrill, almost piercing scream sounded from the golden light. As soon as I heard the voice, I knew it was the cry of the head of the beast sect, Hainyang. What happened? Most of the beast's disciples, who are greedy for life and afraid of death, are already flustered when they hear the cry, and the slight fear is gradually diffused in many disciples. Is it true that even the leader has been defeated by these 2 boys? Impossible, absolutely impossible. With these 2 boys, how can they be the leader of the beast sect now? The golden beam disappeared. A thick smell of blood, in the first time diffuse and open. The scene that appeared in front of people's eyes completely made everyone look silly. Combined with the smell of blood in the air, it can make people feel sick in their stomach. A pair of startled, even frightened eyes, all stiff, fell on the man who was like walking out of the blood pool. Even Cloud Dance, see that man, also can't help but frown. All over the body is the blood, even on the hair, it is still ticking with the blood-red smell. As for him, there was only a pile of fragmented corpses left. Strangely, there was no trace of blood on the pile of corpses whose internal organs were clearly visible. Don't think about it. It's on this man right now. It's just, how did he do it? Yunwoo looks at the dragon who is coming towards her, and her eyebrows are tightened tightly. Of course, it's not because of thinking, but because of the smell of blood on him. It's too smelly to bear. Don't get too close to me, it stinks. Yunwoo quickly reached out to stop him from approaching. Dragon Qing evil smell speech, footstep pause, looked down at himself, that is nourishing his body, but with poisonous blood, at this moment, he is really not suitable to close to her. But he couldn't help asking a question. Little thing, what did you just throw into her mouth? Things? Yunwoo thought about it, but he didn't hide it. At the beginning, I got some phoenix saliva from a man's hand outside Luoyang. I used some poison to mix it with the phoenix saliva and made it into a small pill. Can't the old woman vomit poison? I just got her some. Originally, she wanted to say that the effect of detoxification must be good. But before she could see the effect, the Black Nyang was greedy to attack the dragon Qingxie, which became the end now. However, Cloud Dance does not know. It is precisely because of her pills, which are wrongly typed, that they play the role of detoxification under the insidious poison of Feng saliva liquid. What's more, they make the black girl's blood directly enter and become a great tonic effect. At this time, you can feel it clearly. Under the blood on his body, not only the source of his injury is being repaired, but also the damage of his soul seems to be getting nourishment, and his body healing ability is rapidly recovering. Of course, in addition, the strength of the samurai in his body is also rising like a jumper, little by little. Until he was about to break through the top of the samurai, he stopped. Samurai Peak. It's only one step away from Wusheng. Feeling the changes in the body, Long Qingxie didn't show any excitement. Because, he doesn't want to, this little woman in front of him finally care for him, because of these changes and disappeared. He would rather continue to play his weak. A cell in the back of the Gate of Beasts. It's more like a cell than a lab. Because, in that spacious space, in addition to more than 10 large cells for human beings, it is an extremely modern laboratory platform. And connected to the other end of the lab platform are some Warcraft captured and imprisoned. Most of Warcraft's level is not high, but there are many kinds. If you look closely, there are some mice and chickens. It can be seen that this is called the Gate of Beasts, which is really appropriate. However, at this time, the focus is not on the Warcraft, but in one of the 10 or so cells, which is completely closed. A little guy, by a thick chain, to the whole body up and down winding tied like a little carrot head. The girl in red was sweating. When she locked the last lock, she stood up and breathed a sigh of relief. This damned guy, originally a day's journey back and forth, just because of the non-cooperation of the test object in front of her, delayed her for several days. I don't know if the elder will punish her if she doesn't come back within the time ordered. However, she took back the runaway guy for the sect. The elders should not punish her. Maybe there will be rewards. Thinking about it, the girl in red was a little bit happy, so she was ready to go to the front to find the elder and get the merit. It's just that she has just turned around and has not taken 2 steps. Click. What's the sound of steel breaking? The girl in red frowned and turned her head. The next second, her pupils suddenly shrank. The black line on her forehead went straight down, and her face turned green and black. I saw the guy who was just tied up with little carrot. At this time, he had already sat up and was lowering his head, gnawing at the thick iron chain on his body. even did not vomit, even chewed, directly to the stomach to swallow. People who saw this scene thought that what it was gnawing was not chains, but bread along the way. The girl in red tied it with a rope. It was also a mouthful, directly gnawed away. I began to be surprised by it. It had already worn away all the way. So, after returning to the beast gate, the girl directly tied it tightly with the thickest iron chain. Unexpectedly, it was this scene again. Little monster, you've had enough. It's all coming back. You can accept your life. If you want to escape, they won't let you go. The girl in red looked at the little guy who was still gnawing his head and warned with a black face. It's a pity. Little Stink didn't talk to her from the beginning, and obviously didn't care about her from the beginning. So, for her warning threat, very arrogant, like direct disregard. If it is not felt, it is in this direction, it will not be caught again and again by her, back here. It's in this place, and it's not far away. Click, click dash, nibble. It's looking for Mama. Looking at the little thing in front of her, she still ignored her, biting the iron chain that had been wound around her, and the girl in red turned black again. You smelly thing, okay, you don't listen to me, right? I'll go to the elder now. You'll feel better. The girl in red is also extremely afraid of the little stinky tooth. How dare she do it? Angry, ferocious, fall down cruel words, immediately turned away. However, before he left, he locked the iron door of the room with several big locks before he left. Since her teeth were so good, she let her bite them to see if she could break them. When she finds the elder and comes back, the first thing she does is to take out his sharp tooth to see if he is still arrogant. It was not until the girl in red left that little Stink raised his head from the chain. Little adult-like, that pair of round big eyes, is disgusted with disdain. You are smelly, smelly woman. Broken reed A, small Stink continued to bite, until the body winding chain broken, chubby body just got up from the ground, peep 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 to the iron gate. Without saying anything, he opened his mouth and bit the big lock with a row of sharp teeth. An iron door, like bean curd dregs. It won't take a moment. The door was short of a big mouth, and the little fat ass came out of the prison room in a above-board manner. Mama, I'm back. Xiao Smelly was very excited at the bottom of his heart, and finally he was able to find Mama. However, little Smelly was just about to go to find Yunwu, but there were many cries for help behind him. I saw that there were at least a lot of young men and women, and Warcraft on the other side of the prison. The square is still in the full view of those disciples. Ha pen. A sneeze suddenly came out of Yunwu's mouth. One side is using the clear water, simply wipe the dragon Qing Xia of the next face, lift the Emu to look at the cloud dance. What's the matter? Have you caught a cold? Yunwu rubbed goose bumps on her arm and shook her head. The heart is a strange. Why, she seems to feel the little Stink calling her. What's more, just now her fire element seems to have a fluctuating jump. That obviously means that little Stink seems to be not far away from her. However, her connection with the little Stinky contract has not changed. In other words, it wasn't long after Xiaoqiu was taken away by Feng Huangnu that she felt that although she had a contract with Xiaoqiu, she seemed to be cut off by something. So, all the time, she didn't feel much movement about little Stink. Cloud Dance also thought that it was Feng Huang who found out the contract between her and Xiaoqiu, so she didn't care much about her hands and feet. But how did she suddenly feel that little Stink came? Is it true that Feng Huang and Xiaoxiuka are near the Beast Gate? Just when the clouds are thinking. Long Qingxie has simply dealt with the blood stain on his face, and comes near. Little thing, what do you think? Suddenly close to the smell, let the clouds suddenly convergence mind, slow down. Cloud Dance frowned and looked at the man in front of him, and did not answer his question. After you leave, go to take a bath, your smell is very bad. It's not that Yunwu can't stand the smell of blood, but that the smell of blood on Longqingxi's body is really too fishy. It feels like rotten smelly sea fish. It's a disgusting smell. Dragon Qing evil smell speech, nod, but the hands subconsciously stretch out, want to toward her shoulder to hook up. Your hands. Cloud Dance pick eyebrow of look at him. Long Qingxia's hand was stiff in the air. All right. It's natural for him to be careless with her, which makes him feel like he is instinctive. However, Long Qingxia grinned, I'm used to it. Okay, try to be restrained for your husband before you get rid of yourself. The clouds danced in silence for a while. But he turned his head and glanced at the many disciples of the Beast Gate who were still frozen in the square. What are you going to do with them? Long Qingxia took a look along the line of cloud dance. Just a glance made those disciples' faces slightly changed, their feet trembled, and they almost didn't kneel down. Tu Young Xia, please forgive me. We are all human beings. Yes, we are all human beings. We are all forced to be disciples of the 10,000 Beasts sect. Don't kill us. We haven't been brutalized yet. We are really human. One after another, begging for mercy suddenly rang out in this square. It's no wonder that Song-an was so disappointed with today's Beast Gate. If you look at the scene in front of you, you can imagine. However, those begging for mercy did not get the sympathy of Dragon Qingxia, or even Cloud Dance. Maybe, these two people are cold-blooded people. Or maybe it's because they can see through a lot of things and live in peace of mind. What do you suggest? Long Qingxia asked. Do whatever you decide, I don't mind. Cloud danced directly back to the road. Well, the Shangguans deal with me, just let me destroy this place. Who has the ability to escape, even if he should not die, if he has no ability, he will destroy it together. Anyway, the Shangguan only let him destroy the place. As for people, he can't control them. He is neither a good man nor a villain. As long as he is not in the way of destruction, he will not care about the good or bad of others. Believe, that little woman, is the same kind of person with him. Well. Then do it. Yunwu agrees. The array in mid-air has been fully opened. As long as he combines his fingerprints and starts the destruction array, this place will no longer exist. Of course, he is not suicidal. Naturally, he has to go out with little things. It's just that Long Qingxia wants to take Yunwu away. A red girl's figure flies from the back mountain. When I saw the disciples gathered in the square, the red girl's fierce voice came from afar. I said, why are all the people gone? It turns out that they are all here. Are they also here? You don't have to go out to look for it. I've got the escaped test object back. I'm locked up in the back mountain cell. I heard it. Dragon Qing Evil and Cloud Dance, all lifted eyes of Dynasty that red dress girl to see past. After landing, the girl in red's eyes, the first swept to the dragon with blood-stained clothes, and then a Cloud Dance dressed as an ordinary teenager. It's very eye-catching. Not long after she went out, did she join a new member of the sect. But before the girl in red asked, the corner of her eye swept to the other side of the corpse. Finally, when the corpse was cut in half, two elders. The pupil of the girl in red widens and shrinks. What's going on? At this moment, the girl in red seems to have noticed something wrong, and the crisis in her heart rises. Who are you? When Yunwu saw the girl in red, she felt familiar at first sight. At first, the Cloud Dance didn't think of anyone else, until the girl in red showed an angry expression. Do you think she looks like Yaokuji? Cloud Dance slants ahead, saw an eye, the man nearby asked a sentence. Long Qingxia's mouth was like a smile, but not a smile. Cloud Dance pick eyebrow. It seems that Yaokuji tried every means to come to rescue her, but she had a good life. From the girl in red, Cloud Dance and Dragon can feel the smell of Warcraft in her body. You don't have to look at it. You know it's been brutalized. The girl in red, when hearing their conversation, her eyes flashed a trace of anger. Who are you in the end? Yunwu and Longqing will not answer her naturally. The girl in red, who didn't wait to answer for a long time, was a little annoyed. You dare to break into our beast gate? I'm really impatient. At the end of the speech, he turned his head and said angrily to the disciples in the square, "What are you doing? Don't you catch these two intruders? Do you want the elder to punish you in person?" These disciples belong to the periphery. Most of them have not been transformed into animals or have not been successfully transformed into animals. In her eyes, identity is lower than her. Therefore, when he commanded these words, he was somewhat arrogant. If at ordinary times, which of these people dare to disobey, but now many of the disciples on the scene, just under her angry voice, suddenly turned over. As soon as her face changed, the birds didn't even see her. She followed a group of loose sand and immediately turned around and ran away. They can hear the dialogue between Yunwu and Long Qingxie just now. At this time, who is going to kill her? It's important to run for her life. Hey, you want to die, don't you? The girl in red looked at the disciples who scattered in a crowd and stamped her feet in the same place. Looking at these cloud dances and dragons' evil spirits all the time, there is a sneer on the corner of his mouth. The girl in red felt humiliated. She turned her head and stared at Yunwu and Longqing. "I'm asking you, who are you? If you still don't say who you are, don't blame me for being rude to you." "You're welcome." Sometimes, Yunwu really doesn't know how to appreciate the ignorance of these girls. Still naive. At this moment of the scene, plus the three bodies on the ground, we should not add the big elder who has become gray. We should also know that something is wrong. Hide when it's time. At this time, she's still, silly, want to be rude to them. However, also did not wait for Cloud Dance and Dragon to pour evil mouth. Suddenly, back mountain comes out. What explosion sound. When I looked up, I saw a burst of black smoke rising in the direction of the back mountain. When the girl in red saw this, her face was ugly. "Damn it, it must be that stinky thing again." "See, that young girl breaks to read a voice to still not fall, spread many Warcraft of roar. Roar. Ouch. Ha. Wang. That roar, can be really mixed very, but, also vaguely heard through a kind of liberated roar. Smoke and dust rolling, a burst of random running sound, soon from the mountain. Not for a moment. See a little fat figure, sitting like a dog is not a dog of Warcraft, gallop riding. Ma. All the way, the excitement and shouts came from Yunwu. When Yunwu heard the voice change, looked over and saw the little stink, he was in a burst of tears and laughter. Who told her what was going on? The girl in red looked at the little stink who was riding her tame beast and headed at the front. Her angry face was gloomy. "It's really you who make the noise. If I don't clean you up today, I won't call Yao Xian." Yao Xian roared down. Slender hands, sharp claws suddenly burst out, extremely ferocious. Yao Xian's eyes were overcast, her feet stood on tiptoe, and her body leaped up. As soon as the cold light flashed by, it quickly fell to the little stink. That posture, there is a rhythm of trying to kill the little stink. And Yao Xian did think that way. Originally, she wanted to bring it back. Fortunately, she would take the lead in front of the elder. In that way, she would have a more important position in the family of beasts. But, where to think of, it all the way to her trouble even if. Today, back to the beast gate, it even released the Warcraft in the cell, which is really not a small matter. If you let the elder know, she will be punished, not to mention her first success. Instead of letting the elder punish her, she might as well kill the little monster first. By the way, in front of these two people who don't know where to come out, give them a good awe. Small stink riding behind the Warcraft, straight to the clouds. But looking at the Qing Yao Jin, who was killed suddenly in mid-air, he was also a little angry, and his canthus began to crack his ferocious teeth. It's a posture of biting you to death if you dare to get close to it. However, it is also at that moment. A figure in a flash, in that Yao Xian beast claw mercilessly waved down. That moment, a cold light swept away. Chong! 5 sharp claws, cut off directly. Immediately, a strong breath hit Yao Xian's body directly. Ah! After the painful sound, I heard a body thump. Yao Xian is impartial, just hit in the pile, was just black Nyanghisit broken blood on the body. However, this still let Yao Xian recognize, the corpse of this rotten meat on the ground, unexpectedly is the 3 elder of 10,000 beast door. 3 elders? 3 elders? The other one is the second elder. What about the other one? Is it the elder? But the clothes don't look like it. It's like the leader. It can't be. It can't be true. It's all the elders. They are so powerful. Who has the ability to kill them? What's more, the leader when Yao Xian forgot the pain of his claw being cut off and couldn't believe staring at the meat stall underground. Small stink a long time ago a fly pounce, small fat body wrapped around the neck of Cloud dance. Mama, mama, I miss you so much, mama. Small stink that call a very excited, nose even smell, mouth even kiss. Almost a Cloud that a black hair, to baptism a turn. Cloud dance forehead under the black line, just want to reach out to the small stink to catch down. However, has been a big hand has been the first step of the agency. Long Qingxia grabs the strange thing of the woman who kisses him in disorder and pulls it directly away from Yunwu. His dark eyes squint slightly and stare at it coldly. What the hell is this? Cloud dance sighed, already have that food greedy flower, when, again run to such a person not person beast not beast thing. Call her, mama. What do you call it? How to make him feel so uncomfortable. Little Stinky can't find Yunwu easily, and can't get close to her well. But before he rubs twice, he is dragged away again. I'm really angry. Bares the tooth to expose that sharp ferocious tooth directly, angrily stares at the dragon to pour evil, sends out, woo, like angry sound. Angry like, molar mouth, you stinky man, you are the ghost thing, let me go, I want numbness. Smelly man. This little fat monster, who learned this tone from? How to make him so unpleasant? Long Qingxia has no other hobby, but he especially likes to compete with the people who rob his women, even if he is a little monster with, no man, no beast, in front of him. She's mine, you little monster. You'd better be nice to me, or I'll smoke you. Dragon Qing evil black eye danger am I, half-threat low voice says toward it. Small stink like to learn, also squinted its big cute eyes, molar way, hemp is mine, stinky man, you don't let go, I will eat you. Threatening people, who won't? At the beginning, it had been under the mysterious old man's eyelids for so long, and it was threatened by the smelly traceless for thousands of times. It was also angry, ate up their things and blew their beards. This little smelly man dares to compete with it and dream. With that, Xiao Smelly waved his fat hands and showed his sharp claws fiercely, trying to shake away the big hands that were pulling his feathers behind him. But the dragon lifted his hand and lifted it up. Rao is to let its short fat hand hook not to, let the small stink smell face red. The evil spirit of the dragon's mouth was smiling, but he said in a cold voice, with your little baby teeth. You want to eat me? Believe it or not, I'll take out your little teeth and make you a soup. At the same time, the dragon's body unconsciously sent out a strong and arrogant, which was not strict and powerful. This man is not in the pool. But what about this little stink? Is it an ordinary little monster? I don't know if it's a man who suddenly has a sharp and powerful change in his aura, or how to drop it. Just now also learning the ferocious expression of the small stink, in the man that cold threat line of sight. All of a sudden, the body trembled, big sprout eyes suddenly water mist filled up. Then, his mouth flattened like 1,000 grievances, you bully me. What, want to play pity with him? Long Qingxia glanced at it and swept it with white eyes. If you didn't eat this, he said coldly, what's the matter with bullying you? However 1 drop, 2 drops, 3 drops at that moment, the water mist filled the eyes of Dameng, and the tears poured out like rain wine, cry out loud, in an instant, it's like heartrending. Woo woo I want ma 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 woo woo. Dragon Ching evil mouth corner fiercely drew a few, almost, can't help but want to strangle this small monster in the hand. This guy, it's the attention. Little Stinky's fat claws, instead of being just fierce, were pitiful. They danced to the clouds, with tears in their eyes and big eyes staring at her. Yunwoo, originally standing on one side and watching them make trouble, was also happy to watch the play. Can suddenly this cry, with that pair of watery eyes, I do not know how, some soft-hearted. Well, this egg is hatched by her. It's so pathetic. Even if you know that it may be intentional, it's still a little soft-hearted. In desperation, Yunwoo reaches out her hand and wants to hold back the little stink from Longqingxi. Well, give it to me. Woo woo, ma. Little Stinky heart happy. Longqingxi's face turned black, his hand raised, and he threw the poor little fat man in his hand into the large group of Warcraft running around. Longqingxie. Cloud Dance screams, and subconsciously wants to follow it. But as soon as her foot moved, a big hand grabbed her wrist. A force pull, directly pulled her into the man's tall and strong arms. I say you are a little thing. When I'm not with you, you usually provoke some rotten peach blossom. Now you are with your husband, but you still provoke such a little monster. Do you want to annoy me? Longqingxi's deep voice is full of jealousy and helplessness, and some gnashing of teeth. In particular, he could feel that Yunwoo didn't dislike the touch of the little monster at all, and even liked it. This point, but even Hongling does not exist, let alone him. How can he not be a little jealous? Cloud Dance for men this unreasonable jealous behavior, some gas hold back. Fortunately, seeing that the little stink was thrown directly on the top of the bear's head without being trampled by the herd, I was a little relieved. But, after a while, little stink was taken by the big bear and ran straight away. Cloud Dance turned his head and glanced at the man beside him. I said, you are a big man, can you not be so naive? It is the descendant of Phoenix, the divine beast. I took it away by accident at the beginning and made a contract with me without any reason. It became my fire contract beast. Moreover, I hatched it out. It was its instinct to be intimate with me. Can you come on, let's go. Let's get out of here first. Yunwoo originally wanted to say more, but think about it, this place is not a good place to explain. Just, after going out this time, she planned to talk to this man well. Don't be so domineering, at least, make the situation clear. With that, Yunwoo wanted to chase the little stink, so as not to be taken by the big bear. You know, now this place is the base of the Beast Gate, who knows where it will be, and what is the forbidden area of the dead. If you are not careful, you may not even have any slag. After Longqingxie heard the words, he was really surprised. That little monster is the descendant of Phoenix. It doesn't look like it. However, the little monster was hatched by Yunwoo and became her contract beast. It is understandable that the relationship between the two can be so intimate. Of course, Longqingxie's understanding is literal. If he still kisses in front of him, he will make another humiliating move in the air. Longqingxie still holds her hand and says, "Don't worry. Since it is the descendant of Phoenix, those ordinary Warcraft can't hurt it. Moreover, it can find you all the way here. How can this place trap it? It's also like verifying the words of the dragon." As soon as he had finished his words, the big bear, who had just run away, was carrying the little ancestor, like stink, and then turned back to the clouds. However, this time, it was not the scattered Warcraft, but a group of young boys and girls supporting each other. There were still a lot of them. Mama. You're tuning in to the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.